But it really wasn't rude.
I know.
It wasn't.
But I think it was rude. Okay, so you guys are here to hear from Miss VIcki. So she is going to take it away, and it's going to be like all training this afternoon. But I'm going to formally introduce her so you know how big of a deal this chick is. Okay? Because she's big. Yes, scoot in. I want y'all to scoot in.
Yes.
Y'all want to be close.
Yes.
You want to learn as much as you can and take lots of good notes. Okay. VIcki Piccolari graduated from USF with a bachelor degree in biology, and shortly after married her high school sweetheart and love of her life, Robert. Aww. Robert and VIcki have.
Uh-oh, hold on one second. That's weird. How can you turn off the? Oh well. Anyway,
It's all good. Don't worry
It's all
about
good.
it.
Hopefully that didn't distract you. Okay, VIcki started, Robert and VIcki have two beautiful sons, Charlie, who's 18, and Robbie, 16. Prior to Mary Kay, VIcki was a full-time stay-at-home mom. VIcki started her Mary Kay career in January of 2004 and debuted as a sales director 1 year later in March of 2005. She earned her first Mary Kay car in January of 2005, her second Mary Kay car in May of 2005, and the prestigious pink Cadillac in September of 2005. That means 3 cars in 9 months. Get excited. She is currently driving her 9th free car, her 7th pink Cadillac. VIcki and her Circle of Excellence unit earned the top sales director trip to Costa del Sol, Spain, their very first year as a unit. That's a huge deal. Since then, VIcki has earned the top director trip to Monte Carlo, Monaco, London, England, Venice and Rome, Italy, and this year to Vancouver and an Alaskan cruise for the first time as $1 million sales director. I love this. The Piccolari Pearls of Promise. We're recognized as the #1 unit in the entire Sapphire sales division, both in 2016 and 2017, making VIcki the 2016 and 2017 Queen of the Sapphire division. Her unit's highest, get this, her unit's highest retail production in 1 month was over 217,000 in June of 2017. The directors in the room are like, OMG, that is awesome. So her paycheck that month, get this, consultants don't understand money, right? Her paycheck off of that was over $30,000, so $30,700 in 1 month. 1 month. Could you get excited about making $30,000 in 1 month? Yes. Anyone's life, you make $30,000 in 1 month. Yeah. All right. VIcki has earned 50 carats. Can you see if you can? Yeah. Thank you, love. VIcki has earned 50 carats in diamonds. 50 carats in diamonds from her Mary Kay business. Her most meaningful of accolades, though, was her monthly Miss Go Give nomination for both October 2010 and June 2016. The Piccolari Pearls broke records this seminar year as they became the first unit in the Kathy Littlejohn National Area to achieve the $1 million Circle of Excellence. VIcki is passionately driven to inspire other women to reach their God-given potential while building the $1 million Piccolari More Than Enough National Area this year. Welcome all the way from Florida, Senior Cadillac Sales. All right, anyway, I'm just going to stand here for a second and make sure this camera works and everything.
That's all good. So, I have a chair.
Yes.
I probably won't sit somewhere else. I might start standing up. Okay, how's everybody doing?
Woo!
Well, I am so blessed and honored to be here. Honestly, it's such a privilege. You have a girlfriend that you admire and that you look up to and that you value as much as I do Candace. It is honestly an honor and a privilege to be invited to come here and to train for her. So, I have some really great stuff for you guys this afternoon. I'm super excited to share, honestly, a little bit about my journey, but some practical things about what has taken me from being a brand new consultant, having no idea not only how to do Mary Kay, but honestly how to run a business at all. And taking me from that place to where I am today, you know, earning a six-figure income for probably 12 years or so. And probably the first thing that I can tell you is that this is legitimate and professional business opportunity. It really is. And it is our choice how we want to exercise that. And does that mean it's easy? No, it's definitely not. Is it simple? Absolutely. And I think sometimes the simplicity of it is what makes it so hard. I think that sometimes we get a little bored about hearing about or doing the same thing. Holding parties, sharing the business opportunities, putting faces, whatever it is. I think we get a little bored and we start to look for other ways that we can be successful in this business. And honestly, the problem is that we look to get creative about doing other things, or what I would call creative distractions. And we always have to come back to the basics of the business because that is just the way it was designed and it is the way it works. And so, and being willing to do that, keep it simple, and do what it takes to build this business over and over and over again is what is going to take you where you want to go. You know, one of the things that I loved that Candace shared this morning when we were doing a guest event, she shared with the guests that this business, one of the most powerful things about this business is that it's duplicatable. And if you had to do all of these strange and weird things to be successful in this business, it would not be duplicatable. And so the more simple that we keep this business, the more successful we're going to be, because the easier it's going to be for us to pass it on. And that really is what this is about. It is about us, number one, proving that this business works, and number two, passing that on. That's it. And you have to have the credibility first, the proving that it is working. And I'm going to tell you how I did that as a stay-at-home mom. I wasn't even a sales director. In fact, sometimes I think it's harder for sales directors to recruit people than consultants, because women can understand making an extra $100 or $200 a week, but they cannot fathom making extra $30,000 a month. That's like way too big for them to even understand, or to think, what do I have to do and how big does my organization have to be to get there? And they're right, because it takes growing a large business to get to the point where you have $30,000 checks, you know? And so the simplicity of you, the power that you have to make an extra $100 to $200 a week, week in and week out, I want you to be able to grasp today before we leave what a blessing that is. So number one, you have to have the credibility because you're doing it. And number two, you need to be able to pass that on to others so that they can be empowered to do it themselves. Okay? So I'm going to start out by telling you guys just a little bit about me, because there are lots of people in the room that have heard my story 6 million times. And then there are lots of people in the room today that have never met me, have never heard my story. So I'm just going to start out just by telling you a little bit about my background, a little bit about my story, and then we're going to go into some specific training. I have 3 major things that I want to talk to you about, probably the 3 major things that I get asked about the most about in this business, about how to do it. And then we're going to leave a good half hour or so at the end for some questions and answers. Okay. And I really think it's a good idea, probably, if somebody can just let me know when you guys start to feel restless and you need to get up and walk around and take a bathroom break. Just like, we take a break, you know, and maybe in between subjects we'll do that, because it's 3 hours a long time to sit and listen. It's a long time to stand and talk too. So I want you, you know, as interesting as I am, I don't want you guys to fall asleep, because that will not let either one of us. So, okay, so I had my business in Mary Kay 14 years. January 23rd was my 14-year anniversary. And I had no idea 14 years ago that January 23rd was going to be a special day. I had absolutely no idea. That day I was hosting a party for a good girlfriend of mine, because she begged me to, and I wanted to prove to her that this was not a good idea for her to do this Mary Kay thing. And so I hosted a party for her to convince her that it was not a good idea. So my background has nothing to do with sales, has nothing to do with makeup. I was not even a girly girl. I was a tomboy growing up. I prayed for boys when I was pregnant because I didn't want anything girly or pink in my house. I was an Olympic level competitive gymnast growing up, and I was also a science and math lover. And so, anybody been in sports? Anybody's been in sports? Okay, I really think that people who have competed in sports or competed in something when they were growing up, like Mary Kay is a great place for you. And it's a great place for everybody, but if you have that experience, because it's like it's teamwork and it's like competitive, and it's just like fun. Like it brings out the best in you, you know? So anyway, so I was born in London, England. I lived there until I was 7 years old, right outside of London. My whole family's British. My parents got sick of the weather, and they loved Florida, and they loved Disney World. And literally, they moved us from England to Florida because Disney World. Like literally. So, at 7 years old, I don't think I realized what a big move it was for them to pick up our entire family and move us from one country to another. And yes, we speak kind of the same language. You guys think you speak English, you speak American. And so the first thing I did when I got here was I learned how to speak American. I practiced my American accent all the time. So I learned how to say can't instead of can't and back instead of off. And so I got really good at it. And so nobody would ever know that I was from England. But I moved over to the east coast of Florida when I was 7. I stayed there all the way through high school. I graduated from high school in West Palm Beach, and I had a full scholarship to any state school that I chose to go to. And I chose USF, University of South Florida in Tampa, because they had a medical school. And I wanted to go to medical school. So I thought I wanted to be a doctor. And I went through my biology degree, got my biology degree. I was working for 2 doctors, and after working for them, I realized I did not want to be one. And so it was an identity crisis for me, to be honest with you, because my whole life I had thought that that's what I was going to be. Like I already saw my name with the MD after it, and I just I knew that that's what I was going to do. And when I decided that that was not what I wanted to do, it was the right decision, but it was a hard decision. And so one of my first lessons looking back at that, I don't think I realized it at the time, is being careful of what you place your identity in the hands of. There's really only one place that it's safe being, and that's in the hands of Jesus. And so anywhere else, it can be rocked and changed and turned upside down, and it's not a steady foundation. And so you can think you know who you are and know who you want to be, and it can just get turned upside down. And so there's been a couple times in my life that it's happened, and that was one of them. But anyway, so here I was with a degree in biology. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Robert and I met. We were going to school together since 7th grade, but we never actually met each other. It was like that relationship where I knew all his friends and he knew all my friends, but we never actually met. And I think that was God ordained. If you remember what you looked like in 7th grade, I don't think we would have ended up married if we had known each other in 7th grade. And so both of us were grateful for that. So we met our senior year, and we went to prom together, and and we stayed together all the way through college. In fact, he had never planned to go to college. He was going to move to Alaska and work on the pipeline or something. That was his plan. Whatever. And so when I went to USF, he was going to community college in he stayed home in West Palm Beach. And the reason he ended up going to college with me was because we were dating. He didn't want to move to Alaska at that point because we were dating. So he was going to community college. And back then, we didn't have like cell phones. We had like landlines, where things that are attached to the wall. And so we would call each other every day, and we would be on the phone for like 3 hours, and it was like a $300 to $400 phone bill every month. And my mom paid that. I had a full scholarship, but my mom was paying that. And so after the first semester, she goes, "I will pay for you to go to college with her because it's cheaper for me than her phone bill." Literally how he ended up going to college. Yeah, isn't that crazy? So, and it was cheaper. It was less expensive for her to pay for him to go to for his tuition than it was for my phone bill. So anyway, he got his degree in finance, and he's an investment consultant, and he was building his business. After we graduated, we got married, and he was building his business. And I was working at an architect firm doing their bookkeeping and accounting. And I worked for 3 brilliant architects who were horrendous businessmen. Like they were so good at being architects, and they were so bad at running a business. So another lesson, right? In this business, we have to wear a lot of hats. A lot of hats. We have to be great with people. We have to be great in promotions. We have to be great in marketing. We have to be great in sales, which honestly I think is just people skills, it's not selling. We have to know about the products. We have to be using the products. We have to be great at inventory management. We have to be great at human resources. There are so many things, but we also have to be great businesswomen. We have to know how to run a business, or else we can put ourselves right in the debt. And I've done it, and so I learned the hard way. And so that's one of the things we're going to talk about today is money management, because you can either create a great business or take your business right out if you don't manage your money correctly. Also, nobody wants your job, and nobody wants to do what you're doing if you're not writing yourself a paycheck, if you're not making money. So we're going to talk in detail about that. We have to be great at time management. Another thing we're going to talk about today, because if you don't create time for your business, and if you don't prioritize your life and set up boundaries for your business, you're either going to overwork yourself or underwork yourself, right? So those are all things that I learned working at that architect firm by doing part of the business for them and also watching what they were great at, but they were smart to delegate what they were not great at to somebody who was great at it, right? And so they got to continue doing what they were doing. And as you guys move into leadership, and especially in the position of VIQ and directorship, delegating is going to be a huge part of you becoming successful. Huge, huge, huge. Because you can't do it all and do it all well. And so you've got to decide what's important for you to do well, right? So we'll talk a little bit about that as far as the time management goes as well. So anyway, working at architect firm, and about 2 years later, we had our first son, Charlie. I took him to work with me for about 6 months because the architect did not want to let me go. And so even though he screamed like 24/7, unless he had a bottle in his mouth or he was asleep, he was screaming. And so it was like colic. He's 18 and I still think he has it. It's one of those things where my second son came along and I was like, he is the easiest thing on earth. And I remember taking him to preschool one day and they go, he's a difficult one. And they go, no, actually, he's the easy one. So it's all relative. It is so all relative. Anyway, we had Charlie. After about 6 months of trying to work and take care of him, I decided to stay home full time because it just wasn't working. And then we had Robbie. And in between there, I found the Lord. I grew up in an atheist home, and so I had not stepped foot into a church a day in my life until I was 17 when I first met Robert. And even then, I didn't really know about a relationship with the Lord until I was 20, almost 24. So, so that kind of changed everything, turned everything upside down, and I realized what was important to me in life. And by the time my boys were 2 and 4, I was home full time with them, and I was looking for a way to earn some income because we were just falling deeper and deeper into debt. When Mary Kay came into my life, we were $40,000 in debt, not counting our house or our cars. It was just my husband's student loans and credit cards. And I was sharing with the guests earlier today that it wasn't credit cards, unfortunately, because we went on these wonderful trips and had all this nice furniture or nice clothes. It wasn't that. It was we were living paycheck to paycheck, and then the AC broke, and then that went on a credit card. Because Sue had $2,000 sitting around, and then we were living paycheck to paycheck, and we got a roof leak, and we need the whole roof replaced. And so, life, it's called life. Tires on your car. Who likes to put tires on your car? Does that feel like the biggest waste of money ever? Honestly, it really does. I hate that. You need it, but it's like, where did that $1,000 go? It's like, really? Gosh. So, one of the things I love about having a Mary Kay Cadillac is I try my best to not need a new set of tires before it's time to turn it in, So, they're bald when I turn it in, but they make it. Somebody else's problem. That's where we were. We needed money. And I really felt called to more. I felt like I wanted to influence people. I felt like I wanted to help people. I felt like I wanted to, Candace said it beautifully earlier to the guest. I wanted to add value to other people's lives. And we needed money. And so I was looking and praying. And Mary Kay honestly was the last place I ever thought I would find any of that. And this is not a guest event, so I don't have to talk about the marketing plan or talk you guys into it. But I think sometimes it's good for us to remember what we have in this business. I mean, it really is tremendous. It's good for us to remind ourselves even us take for granted what we have, because you can't even get used to having a Cadillac, and you can't even get used to having a six-figure income. I know that might be hard to believe, but it's just humans, and you can take everything for granted. It's so good to be with people who sharpen you, but also remind you of what we have, And so we are so blessed. Anyway, I had this girlfriend who asked me to host a party for her. I agreed to it because I really thought she got taken. I thought, I felt bad for her. I had all these stereotypes about Mary Kay, and so I also, because of my science background, I wanted to pick the products apart and tell her why they were really awful, And so I sat down in the skincare class and found out the opposite. Picked apart the ingredients, picked apart the products, and realized how amazing they were. And I wanted everything. My friends and family wanted everything, and I saw a business sitting at my table. I really don't believe that there's a more powerful way to recruit women in this business than having them invite their friends and family into their home. You come in and show them the product, and then they watch their family and friends buy $300, $500, $700, $1,000 product. I mean, they literally watch the marketing plan work in front of your eyes. And honestly, if that's all we do, that's all we do. And so anytime you're frustrated with your business, all I would ask you to ask yourself is, when was the last time I had a party in a hostess's home with her friends and family? Because if we're frustrated, it's probably because it's been a while. And because we want all these things, but we're not doing what it takes to get those things. And really, that's what I'm talking about when I say it's simple. That really is the simplicity of this business. The whole full circle way that this business works at a kitchen and dining room table with those women sitting around it. And if you think about the way that Mary Kay started this business, that's what she did. Even her sales meetings were on Monday mornings, and there were no guests. It was just consultants, and she would train. Because you know why? The guests were sitting at dining room and kitchen tables of their hostesses. That's where their guests were. That was their guest at a party at a And so I think sometimes we've made it a lot more complicated than it really needs to be. They would come to their Monday morning meeting, and then they would all go and hold parties together. And then they would come back together and celebrate what they had done that week and all the parties they had held. And they would come with new consultants, because they had all met these women who became consultants at the parties, and they would bring them back, and they would share, and they would recognize each other, and they would have some training, and then they would all go out and hold parties. I mean, that's what they did. That's how they built this company. If you think about it, they started with Mary Kay and 8 women, okay? And a year later, they had over 260 women in the country. So that's literally you starting, and a year later having a unit of 260 women. I just want you to think about that. Directors, I want you to think about that. Right? Going from adding 260 people in 1 year, right? And so that's what they did. I mean, they went out and held parties. And then they came back together and celebrated. And sometimes I think we're missing this. We're doing a lot of this and not a lot of that. And so, why do we think that God designed the business that way? Because I believe it's a God ordained business. Definitely God, Mary Kay took God as her partner. I think God took Mary Kay as his partner. And I think this marketing plan is totally God's divine marketing plan. Beautiful to the point where when you have a national sales director or top director speaking from stage, she can say whatever she wants, because she's not hired by Mary Kay Corporate. She's an independent. We are independent consultants. So they can't tell us what we're allowed to say or not say. I don't think Mary Kay thought of that when she started this business. I don't think she thought that we would need that kind of protection, that there would be a problem with mentioning God from the stage in 1963. But today, God knew it. And so he created our business the way he created it. And so when we have to disperse and go out into women's homes and bless them with their products, bless them with our presence, they may be the most positive person. You may be the most positive person that they have seen that week, even if you're not super positive yet. Honestly, just being around these women makes you one of the most positive people in the United States. So 100%. Okay, you may not have it all figured out. You still may have some whining and moaning moments. However, you're still some of the most positive people on this earth. And so when you go into that woman's home, you're probably the most positive person that they have seen and for potentially months. And so that's why God created this business opportunity, so that we will go out into people's homes, right? If you look at the Bible, that's why Peter and Paul didn't get along, right? Or else they would have just huddled up together and had have fun together and loved on each other and told each other how great they were all the time. Because they were amazing, but they didn't see eye to eye on everything. And so they kind of, I think God ordained that to push them out. And they had to go spread other places. And so that's what we're called to do. Come together at our meetings, and then we are supposed to go out and, spread our light, spread our love, and what this opportunity can give to other people. And so we're going to talk about the house too, but I'm just going to challenge you, bottom line, to do that. That's what we signed up for. Yes, we signed up to get a discount on the business, on the product opportunity and the product, but the business opportunity is there for us to bring light into other people's lives. And so I'm gonna charge you for that. Okay. So anyway, had this party at my house, fell in love with the product, saw my friends and family want everything. I wanted them as my customers because they were my friends and family. So I literally got up from the table and started to whisper into all of their ears, not to buy everything that they wanted tonight. Because I was going to start the business and I wanted them to buy it from me. Right? And so that's how real business women think, you guys. So anyway, I'm just kidding. So anyway, but really what I saw sitting at that table was not even just my friends and family who liked the product. It was all the people that they knew that I didn't know. Like I could literally go through every one of those friends and think about the job that they used to have, the neighborhood that they used to live in, the family that they talk about that I've never met. And all of those people have skin. All of them. And I bet you guys have people in your life that know people and they have skin. And sometimes I think we think, nobody wants to go. No, and we don't think about all those people that we have access to and we're not stepping into it. And so that is literally what I saw that night. There were 6 people sitting at my table, but I saw 600 people. Because everybody knows 50 to 100 people. And so that's what I saw. So anyway, I started my business that night. My whole goal was $400 a month. We desperately wanted to put Charlie in private Christian school because of the way I was raised. When I accepted Christ, it was a foundational rock because every book that I had ever read, every school that I had ever been to, every class that I had ever taken, there was a lot of lies. There were a lot of lies that I was taught, and I believed as if they were truth. And so I really wanted my boys raised with purity of truth from the beginning. So we wanted them in private Christian school, and that was a huge why for me. Before the word why was a catchy phrase, that was my why at the beginning, was to put my kids in private Christian school. So we needed $400 a month for that. The school that we found, we had a scholarship to. It was for Charlie going into kindergarten, but the difference that we needed to pay was $400 a month. And so that I was so laser focused on that $400 a month. And my thought process was I want to make it the first 2 weeks of the month so I'm not stressed out about it. Like I can't not have this money. I need this money. Like they can't. That's embarrassing. Like to say to tell the school you don't have money. So that was my focus. And so I just went about booking some parties, and literally, you guys, how did I book the parties? Everybody always asks me this. This is literally what I would say, and I probably still say it today. I would say, I just started a business with Mary Kay. I absolutely fell in love with the skincare, the way it feels, the way it looks, and I would love to know if you love it as much as I do. I value your opinion on it. You be willing to give me your opinion. You just have to sit down, try it, and tell me, yes, I love it, no, I hate it. But would you be willing to do that? And you guys, literally, it was like field research, I wanted to see how many people's opinions I could collect and just see what percentage were yay and what percentage were nay. It was like a science experiment, And so I took like the emotion out of it. It wasn't, they were saying no to me or whatever. I just wanted them to be part of my research, And so I asked them to invite some friends because I told them I needed 30 people to give me their honest to God opinion. And I said that. I want 30 people to give me their honest to God opinion on it. every month. How many people can you get to join you? So I can get a lot of them done at one time. And that is it. That is all I said over and over and over again. Because you guys, if you're pure of heart with that, and they know that there's no obligation to purchase anything, there was really no reason for them to say no. Even if they tried to pay before, you still knew their opinion. Because it wasn't with you. You know? So that's how I started. And they all invited people I didn't know, and we tried the products. And my first week, I held 2 parties, and I sold it was somewhere between $800 and $1,000 that first week. And so, and I booked parties from those. You know, my first party, and and by the way, it's not because I'm good. I was good. Okay, I was not good. Okay, my voice shook at that first party so much that it was like you could see that they were embarrassed for me. You know, like, and then it made me uncomfortable because I could see how uncomfortable they were. It was just not. My voice shook the entire time I was talking. I honestly, they all bought a miracle set, and I don't know whether they bought it because they loved it. I'm sure they did, but I think they felt sorry for me. Like, it was it was awful. Because I was very shy. I didn't like to talk in front of people. I didn't wear makeup. I'm not a salesperson. Thank God this product is good enough to sell itself, right? And so I just did what I was told to do. I let them try it. I told them about the set, and I asked them if they knew a new object, what would they want to go home with. And then when they said that, whatever it was, I would just say, is that you're comfortable starting with? Is that what you're comfortable starting with? And they would tell me yay or nay. And if not, we would find a way to get them something to go home with. Okay? And so that was it. We would book a party so we get some pretty simple stuff. And so I just continued to do that. My goal was to hold 2 to 3 parties a week. I didn't always do it, but my goal was to hold 2 to 3 parties a week. Because I just didn't want to be stressed about money. And so, you guys, I started making $1,200 or so a month profit. And so it just started to roll from there. And I had good months and bad months, good weeks and bad weeks. I had some weeks I wanted to hold 2 to 3 parties, and I didn't hold any. We all have those. But I tried not to let it go into 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, right? Because further apart those parties are, the more you start to second guess yourself, the more you start to second guess your business opportunity, you start to second guess everything. And it's really not because of you or the business opportunity. It's just because you're actually not working, And so it's like not going to work and not getting a paycheck when you're wondering what's wrong with the company. Right. That company, maybe it's not a good company. No, it's because you're not going to work. That's where you're getting a paycheck, And so we can see that in a corporate job, but why, sometimes we just don't see it in the married table. And so you just need opinions. That's all you need. You're just looking for opinions, You know why? Because even if those opinions don't buy any products, you're learning something about your presentation and how to hone it and how to get it better and how to close the sale. You're learning something every step of the way. Okay? And it's all good. So a year after I started, I earned the first free car. And a month after that, I became a sales director. And then the rest is kind of history, All that really being a sales director is, like I said, is earning the credibility of the simplicity of this business because you've done it, and then passing that on to other people, I love, Candace and I talk about this all the time. We say that we run our businesses very differently, but it's not that different. It's really not. We both have the same values, the same morals, and the same ethics and integrity, and that's why we like to be in each other's spaces. We just do a few things that are a little bit different, than each other. But there's nothing right or wrong. You just gotta find what works for you. So I train on what has worked for me. I train on the way I have built my business. For me to sit up here and train you guys on great guest events that I do all the time, I don't do that all the time. I do parties, So I'm going to train you on what I do. But my point in that is saying that you don't have to do exactly what I do. You don't have to do exactly what Candace does. You need to do what works for you and then teach others how to do what is working for you. You just need to find what works for you so that you have the credibility to train other people. That's it, okay? So you've got to find what works for you. It might be a combination of what Candace and I do. It might be a combination of what everybody in here does. But whatever it is, if you figured it out, then you can teach it to other people. If you haven't, it's very hard to build a team that is sustainable and happy because there's no credibility in you, you know? One of the best tools that my consultants can have to recruit with is a weekly accomplishment sheet. And if we're not even doing one, we can't use it. Because if you have, as a consultant, if you can show that you worked 2 hours this week and you made $70 profit, I don't care that you only made $70 profit. You just made $35 an hour.
Right.
Where do you go to make that much money?
Mm-hmm.
There's so much credibility in it. It doesn't matter how much you made. It matters how much you made per hour.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense? So yes, my $30,000 paycheck may be impressive, but I'm just going to tell you the women that are sitting around those kitchen and dining room tables are going to be much more excited about you making $35 an hour than my $30,000 a month. Because that looks so out of reach for them.
Yeah.
You have so much power at your fingertips by just doing a little bit of work and putting it on a weekly accomplishment sheet and bringing that with you to a career path. It's powerful. It's super powerful, right? And so I want to help you guys tap into that today and understand that your director doesn't have to recruit for you. It's actually harder for her to recruit for you. It's easier for you to do it because this is going to be your person. Would you like to make $35 an hour? Then let me show you what I did last week. Right? I did a party with 3 people and it was about $140 of what I said. I did that. And I can show you how to do that. And you can make $35 an hour too. Okay? And that's the power of this business. It's not the diamonds and the cars and the trips. That's part of the dream. Absolutely. And I'm so blessed to have that. But the real power of this business is those women who may never earn cars, earn trips, earn diamonds, but they're making $35 an hour in a high school degree. Mm-hmm. That's who we need to reach. And that's who you guys have the opportunity to reach. But you have to have the credibility of it first. You have to have done it and have it on paper. Okay? All right. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about 3 major things. I'm going to talk about this first subject, and then we're going to stretch and take a break, and then we'll go into the other 2 subjects, okay? So the first subject that I'm going to talk about is time management, because if you convince yourself that you can't figure out the time to work Mary Kay, or you have got so many other things going on in your life that you're so distracted or focused on other things that you're not making time to work your Mary Kay business, then it is hard for you to make $35 an hour. You have to work some hours to make some money some hours, you know? So the other thing, you know, that is really powerful is when you have a customer base, you can get some wonderful things called reorders. So that's really cool. So when you fill out your weekly accomplishment sheet and that reorder really took like no time, don't put 0 in the time slot. Put like 0.1 hours. Okay? Because then it'll work out on the weekly accomplishment sheet how much you made per hour. And that's a really high number. Yeah. Because if you sold $100 and it took you 10 minutes, that's whatever it is, that's like a lot. That's like $300 an hour. Is what you just made. Okay? That's really powerful. First of all, it's powerful to your husband. It's powerful to you, and it's powerful to anybody you're talking to about the business opportunity. When your husband thinks his business doesn't work, and you say, "I answered the phone and talked to somebody for 10 minutes and made $50," that's like $300 an hour or whatever. That's, you know, I'm sure he probably doesn't make that. You know, and so that it's good. And so sometimes you need to remind yourself of what you have. You know, of what you have. So. Time management. I have had to become a stickler about this. I was not a super big stickler about this before. When I started my business with Mary Kay, I was a stay-at-home mom. And, you know, I have a lot of questions. Who has kids like 10 and under? Okay, a lot of you. Wow. Okay, so, you know, every time you get on the phone, they start to fight or have a tantrum or, you know, whatever it is. I think I spent the first 4 or 5 years of my Mary Kay business in the car on the phone like this.
Yeah.
I think I spent my first 4 to 5 years like that. Okay, so do I give you hope? Because I probably wasn't being the best mom or the best consultant at that moment. But life was messy. I never ever had a time. I'm not gonna say never. I never had an unplanned time. It had to be very strategically planned. Where I sat down somewhere with my customer profile and my glass of water and my phone and my notebook and made some booking calls. I don't know when that happened. Because my booking calls were on the playground while I was pushing the swing, you know? Here we go. Or it was, you know, while I'm catching them at the bottom of the slide, or it's, you know, when I step out of playgroup and I ask the other moms to watch the kids for a second because I was getting a phone call from somebody who hasn't maybe you call me back with me. You know, whatever, it was messy. And that's okay. It's okay that it's messy. It's supposed to integrate into your life, but it is still a priority. And so I made sure that I got it done. It just wasn't necessarily sitting at this beautiful table with some flowers and you know what I'm saying? So you just do it when you can. It was in the car a lot. I was never in the car, not on the phone. I mean, it's just how I did it, you know. And so it was a good use of my time. You have to make sure you're safe about that. I can do that safely. If you can't, don't do it. But I could do it safely. Anyway, so I wasn't great at doing one of these things. In fact, I could not understand the use of these things. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest with you. We were taught this is called a weekly plan sheet. It's a Mary Kay staple. If you've seen this before and dismissed it, I'm gonna ask you to open up your mind and heart to a new thought. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, I did not use one of these for the first 8 or 9 years of my business. So it doesn't mean that you have to have one to be successful. But the reason, I'm going to tell you the reason I didn't use it, and then I'm going to tell you how I use it and why that's changed, okay? So I didn't use it because for the way that we were taught in Mary Kay is to make one of these every week and to put it on your fridge so your husband can see where you are all the time. Your kids can see. Has anybody ever heard that? Okay. Yeah. I did not understand for the life of me why I would write the same thing on here that I did in my date book. Like, I'm like, I'll just tell my husband where I'm going to be. Like, and honestly, if I don't want him to know, I don't want him to know. Sometimes I don't want him to know all my stuff, you know? But, like, I could not understand. I don't know. I just didn't understand it. I'm like, it's in my account. It's in my account. It's in my date book. Like, so I know when I'm working Mary Kay. And so I didn't understand it. And I didn't have the time to do one of these every single week. Like, I was just like, what a waste of time. So, when my kids were, I want to say 9 and 11. 9 and 11. We moved about 20 minutes north of where we were. And we were nowhere near a private Christian school anymore. I mean, it was literally going to be about an hour one-way drive to the closest private Christian school. And so it was not really an option, okay? So we decided to put our kids in the public school, okay? And this is nothing against public school. This is the fact, it did not work for my children, okay? My children were both those boys, if anybody's ever been a teacher, they were those boys that the teachers say, I can't diagnose them, but they don't sit still, they don't focus, they're running around all the time. I have to keep saying, Charlie, come back, Robbie, pay attention. So without saying it, they were telling me they had ADD or whatever, you know. And so we didn't want to go into the medication route, and so that was just our personal choice. I have nothing against it. There's no judgment. We didn't want to go that route, and so we did what we could. And so when we moved out there, Charlie was going into 6th grade middle school in Florida, and so we struggled through 6th grade. And by the time we got to the middle of 7th grade, we missed an entire science fair project, and I didn't even know it because he would throw out all the information that was coming home to me. I would ask him if there was any homework, and he would say no every single day. And the teachers at that age group, rightfully so, were saying, well, they need to learn how to be independent. So we no longer communicate with the parents. We now communicate with the children, and they need to understand they're responsible. Totally get it, but mine's not. So what what do I do? You won't talk to me. And he's telling me he has no homework, you know? So bottom line is I quickly realized that this is not going to work, especially because I went on a field trip with him, and the child behind us would not stop dropping the F-bomb, okay? And so, and nobody was saying or doing anything to correct this child. And I turned around and asked him to stop using that language, and he gave me the nastiest face and the worst attitude and told me, how are you going to make me do that? And Charlie looked at me and goes, Mom, don't worry about it. He's like that all the time. And I thought, my child is around this 7 to 8 hours a day. He sleeps 8 hours a day. So he's maybe around us 5 or 6 after he gets home from class and all that stuff, you know, or gets home. And this is what he thinks is normal behavior. And he's basically telling me that. It's okay, Mom, because this is normal. And I thought, that's not normal. I've been there quite a few hours and I haven't heard anybody like talking like that. Where's Christine? I'm just kidding. She has not. I'm just tired.
She's been good.
I will tell you that word with an English accent does not sound as bad. I'll teach you how. My mom says it all the time. She still has a strong English accent. And when she says it, it doesn't sound bad. It sounds really pretty. If I wasn't being recorded, I would say it for you. So anyway, he thought it was normal behavior. I decided that day to take him out of school. I didn't know what I was going to do, so I kind of figured, well, I'll try this homeschooling thing. I've never wanted to homeschool. In fact, I really don't want to homeschool at all. And so, but he needs something. And I knew that he was way behind, and so I walked into the school the next day and I pulled him out and said, what are you going to do? And he said, I'm going to homeschool. Do you know how to do that? I said, no, but I'll figure it out, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be better than what I'm getting. And it's nothing against you or the school. I'm just telling you. He asked to go to the bathroom at the beginning of the class and doesn't come back until the end of class. And he gets away with that. And, you know, whatever. You know, they're not babysitters. I get that, you know. So, anyway, pulled him out. We found a good co-op that he goes to 2 days a week. And I spent that entire rest of the year just catching him up. He was doing about 3rd grade math and he was in 7th grade. And so I just literally, I bought a 5th grade math book. And then at the beginning of the math book, there's like a pre-test, like an evaluation of where they are. And he took it and he wasn't even like, it was like a 3rd grade level. And so I thought, all right, I'll get the whiteboard out and I'll teach you how to, he didn't know how to, he had missed the day, maybe he was in the bathroom, when they were teaching how to subtract with borrowing. And so I just taught him how to subtract when you have to borrow. No, I don't even want to go into that. Whatever. I just taught him the way I knew how to do it, you know? And so we just caught him up from 3rd grade to 7th grade that year. I didn't even worry too much about all the other subjects. I just caught him up in math. And really, honestly, I think I accomplished more than he would have accomplished, obviously, in 4 years at school, okay? So anyway, my point is, I was forced into a position where I needed to homeschool him. Robbie stayed in public school through the end of elementary school, and then I didn't want to put him in the public middle school until I started homeschooling. So I tell people it's not my calling in life, it was just something I was called to, and I was convicted and I was called to it. And so to this day I still homeschool. Charlie graduated. He is still not the best scholastically, you know, and he doesn't want to go to college, and I'm fine with that. In fact, we had a great debate the other day where he told me he thinks that I would probably make even more money today if I had not gone to college. I don't know if I agree with that. However, you know, my husband's paid $10.99 as well, and so am I. And so he has a little bit of a point with the fact that, you know, I probably would be doing this even if I didn't have a college degree, you know. And so he's an entrepreneur, go figure. And so he works at Chevy full time, and he works 12-hour days, 6 days a week, and he has tremendous work ethic and tremendous discipline. And I'm very proud of him, and he will be very successful. Because he doesn't ever not get what he wants. Ever. He just keeps wearing you down. My husband always says, it's like creation. So anyway, he will be very successful at whatever he is called to do. And Robbie's still in 10th grade, and so before I flew out here, we were working on algebra 2 and chemistry, and almost every day. I just want you to know, I'm not perfect. I don't have everything all together. Like every day, I'm thinking in my head, I've already done algebra 2. Why am I doing this? You know, so even though I'm a math and science lover, I was a biology major, not a chemistry major. Anyway, so I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. And so, it's all good. So, anyway, all of that to say that I found myself in a position where I needed one because I was already running a triple unit and I didn't want to go backwards in my business and I didn't want my children to ever feel responsible for me not being successful in my business. You have to be really, 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 really careful. I hear consultants a lot, even in my unit, say to me, I really think I'll be able to do a lot more with this business, but their this, but they're that. And I don't think sometimes that we realize we're telling our kids subconsciously that they're holding us back from success. And so be really careful because you think you're using your children as a reason. It's really an excuse. And your children think that it's a game. And they feel shame. They don't ever want to hold you back. There's nothing like seeing your children's prideful tears in their eyes when they see you accomplish something. And so when they got to stand on stage with me when I was crown queen, after homeschooling them all year, could you imagine how that felt for them, let alone me? I've never used my children as an excuse not to work with things and not to be successful. And so be really careful at what you say to yourself and what you say to them. Because you can't do this and make them a priority and be with you. Okay? So I just got really good at using this because I wasn't willing to use them as an excuse or use another reason to not continue being successful with me, okay? And because I was obedient to what they were telling me to do, I've been even more successful because I couldn't really doubt anymore. Like every moment had to be intentional. Everything that I did had to be intentional. Do I get to watch TV a lot? No, pretty much not at all. Do I miss it? Not at all. Not at all. I watched one show, The Crown. We talked about that. You watch it. So anyway, but it's like I have the time to watch half an episode like a week. Like that's basically the amount of time that I have, and it's okay. It's all right because our life is so full of wonderful things, you know. So what I do with my weekly plan sheet, I don't make one every week. This is an opportunity to plan your life the way that you want it to look. Okay? Sometimes I think it's very easy for us to slip into this victim mentality where we start to believe that our life controls us, our schedule controls us, or our things that we have chosen to do control us. When you guys, that is absolutely not the case. If you are too busy, you're the one that said yes. Right? People used to come up to me and say, how are you doing? You know what my answer used to be? Busy. Here's this. Rude. First of all, as if I'm busier than you are. Everybody's busy. You know, I don't even say I'm busy anymore. My life is full. My life is super full. Why do I say that? Because I have complete control over what I say yes to and what I say no to. If I feel too busy, it's because I said yes to too many things. And it's not because other people need so much from me. It's because I said yes to other people wanting something. And so we have complete control over that. And so I wanted to design a daily experience for myself that I love. Design a daily experience for yourself that you love. What do you love to do? What do you love to do? What lights you up? I love to have my quiet moments. So guess what? I have it twice a day. I love to sit in a coffee or tea shop. So that's where I go to make my phone calls or to follow up or to need a consultant for coaching. If you don't love that, do it sometimes. You know, what do you love to do? For a period of time, I needed something that got my mind off of work and off of family and off of everything. I went into horseback riding lessons because I love to horseback. And so I did that for 2 hours a week. And by the way, I didn't ever ask my kids or my husband to come and watch me do it. I'm just saying, it was a hobby. I'm just throwing that in there. Because some of us feel like we need to be at every sporting moment for our kids. It's a hobby. And I love that they want to do that. But I never once asked my kids and my husband to come and sit in the bleachers and watch me horseback. Okay? I'm just throwing it out. I got to do it, and they get to do it because they love it, and I got to do it because I love it, you know? So anyway, you've got to think, design the day that you love, because we only get to live here once. And when we are living a life that we love, we attract people, and we bring joy to other people. Why? Because we're joyful. We're joyful. Does that mean I do things that sometimes I don't love to do? Absolutely. In here is chemistry and algebra too. I'm just telling you. It's part of my rhythmic. That's not something that I love to do, but I fill my day with things that I love to do so that it fills my cup from the things that drain my cup. Okay? So what I decided to do is I looked at my life and I asked myself, when do major things change up? And so for me, it's semesterly. So my kids, well, it's actually 3 times a year. So from like August to December, my boys, and my one is graduating. When I say my boys, and I'm still enamored with both of them, but we have school, and then we have January through May where we have school, and then we have the summer, which I love for the first 2 weeks, and then I can't wait to get back into the routine. Anybody else feel like that? So anyway, so then I designed 3 of these a year. Okay, I designed 3 of them a year, and I work hard on them. I'm getting it where I want it. And then I highlight them and I laminate it. And I live by this. And every day is not the same, but every Monday is the same. Every Tuesday is not the same, but every Tuesday is the same. I mean, every day is not the same, but every Tuesday is the same. There are some exceptions, like Wednesdays. Sometimes, well, it's all Mary Kay time, but we have a monthly directors meeting that I go to. So that Mary Kay time might look different on the first Wednesday of the month than it does. My last Wednesday of the month is my quiet day, away with the Lord. So that, I don't have Mary Kay time the last Wednesday of the month. But in general, this is what every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday looks like. This is my perfect life. This is what I would look like for it to look like perfectly. Now, if you are in a full-time job, anybody in a full-time job that they want to get out? No. Okay. If you're in a full-time job, this is what you do. You do one of these back to back. Okay? You do one for reality right now, and then you do one for how your life would look without that full-time job and full-time marriage. And this is what you do to create the dream. That makes sense? And every day your why is in front of your face. Okay, if you have a full-time job that you don't want to have full-time, you got to turn Mary Kay full-time, then you write one of these for what it looks like tonight, right now, and you make sure you have 3 to 4 time slots a week for Mary Kay work, and then you'll be able to live the dream life of only Mary Kay. I want you to write one out of what your life would look like without your full-time job. Okay? Guess what? When I do this, somebody with a full-time job, what is the first thing you have to put in here? Oh. Now, is that your number 1 priority in life? No. Then how come you have to put it in there first? Guess what we get to do in Mary Kay? I get to put God in here first, then family in here second, and then Mary Kay in here third. That's freedom. That's freedom. And so we are blessed to have that. If you don't have that yet, fine. You put in your job first, put in your family and God, and put in Mary Kay, and actually do it when you say you're going to do it. And then you'll have this, where you can actually put God in first, where he belongs, and family in second, where they belong, instead of your job being first. So that's a beautiful thing. I'll tell you, it really is a beautiful thing. And so, when you're scheduling a Mary Kay time, this is something you've got to be careful of, and then we'll wrap this up. When you're scheduling Mary Kay time, and I'm going to pass these out. I should have done this a little earlier. I'll pass these out for you. I do this in either an erasable pen or a pencil to begin with, until I figure out that that's exactly what works. I have to work it practically for a couple weeks and erase things and move things around. And am I actually going to leave the house on Tuesday nights? No, Tuesday night, for whatever reason, I like to be home, so I've got to find another night to be a Mary Kay night. Just work it for a little while, and then after you've worked it for 2 or 3 weeks, then you actually highlight and laminate it, okay? Another great tip for this is sit down with your family and ask them what makes them feel most loved that you do. What is it that I do, honey, that makes you feel most loved? So when I asked my kids that, they said, I love it when we sit together one-on-one and you don't have your phone and we're just talking, you and me. Okay, great. I will make sure we have time for that. Okay, that will be scheduled into my week. All right. My husband, when I asked him that, you guys could probably guess what he said, and that takes 10 minutes. I didn't even have to plan on those. I really but surprisingly enough, none of them said when you spend hours in the kitchen cooking. Now, some of you guys might have family that do say that, okay? And that's you're going to figure that out. You're either going to have to do that 3 or 4 days a week and then make it up for 2 days. Or you'll have to get one of those meal plans out there that like delivers to your door or whatever it is. You can figure it out. Or maybe you love to cook and that is part of your hobby. That's part of your downtime. You schedule it in. Do whatever you want. That's absolutely fine. I was so grateful that they didn't say that because I don't cook. I don't enjoy cooking. And guess what? It's not part of my weekly plan sheet because I don't make time for it because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Okay, so I delegate. We find other ways to eat, you know. And we don't go out to eat all the time. We just delegate it. And if I do cook, I make enough for like 3 days. So it just all works, you know. So anyway, you ask what makes them feel most loved, and you do those things. But don't feel led by guilt or some perceived belief of what makes them feel loved that you have to do for them, and then be miserable doing it. They would much rather have a happy wife and a happy mother that's not doing the things she doesn't love to do than the mother that's doing those things, being passive aggressive and complaining. I'm honestly, right? Like, if I'm gonna cook dinner and be like, I can't believe this. Why did somebody else do this? Nobody helps me around this house. If you're gonna be like that, don't do it. Like, nobody wants that, okay? Don't do that. And now, if cooking brings you joy and you love it, and like Brianna was telling me, it clears her mind and she just really loves to do it, then you need to do it because you're being a joy to be around. But if you're complaining about it the whole time, believe me, your husband doesn't want you to do it. He doesn't, okay? So anyway, find out what makes them feel loved, and I make sure that I put that in here. Now, for your Mary Kay time, if you are not a sales director yet, okay, even as a VIQ, probably the most that you're actually going to work your Mary Kay business is 15 hours a week, the most. As a consultant, not in VIQ, I mean, you can be successful in this business working at 2 to 5 hours a week, honestly. So this is what I suggest. Don't put in 12 to 15 hours if you don't want to work 12 to 15 hours. Yeah. Only put in the time slots that you're willing to work. And this is what I mean by willing to work. You're willing to leave your house. Okay? Because real work is holding an appointment. If you don't have an appointment, then you need to make booking calls. And if you're coming out on the booking calls by saying, I'll just stay home tonight and make booking calls, we all know how that works. And it doesn't happen. So don't put in 6 time slots here and then be like, I'm going to go house all the time. Well, why do you have 6 time slots? Put the time slots in here that you're willing to leave your house. I don't care if you go somewhere and park in your car and make phone calls in. You need to be out of your house for 2 reasons. Number one, there's distractions in your house for you, and you'll let yourself off the hook. And after doing this great for 2 weeks, at week 3, you're not doing it anymore. two, your family doesn't take this business seriously because you say you're working Mary Kay business, but you're really like trying to work between doing the dishes and doing laundry and making a bed and blah, 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 whatever. It's not really work. Leave your house. So when my kids were little, I went to my meeting on Monday night. I have 2 to 3 other appointments a week. Usually Tuesday, Thursday night, and a Saturday one. And if it wasn't an appointment I was going to a coffee shop or Barnes and Noble or somewhere. My family didn't know the difference. They didn't know where I was going because if I wasn't going to a money-making appointment, I needed to go somewhere to make booking calls. So I had a money-making appointment, actually double booked for my next consult. Because I don't want to be away from my family and not be with them. Okay? So I created things to make me disciplined. Everybody always goes, "You're so disciplined." I'm like, I'm not. I'm really not. So I just made myself do things that made me disciplined, if that makes sense. Like I just said, I'm leaving my house, and I would grab my stuff and just leave my house. I wouldn't think about making a phone call because I wasn't excited about that. But once I got there to the coffee shop, there was nothing to do but make phone calls. Okay? There's no laundry to do, there's no child to read a story to, there's no bath to do them, there's no, so pick the time slots that you're going to leave your house and work your Mary Kay business during those time slots. Okay? And then, yes, did I have to answer calls here and there and calls from, like I said, from the playground? Yes, I did those things too. But my actual times where I was going to hold appointments, I left the house. Okay? So does that help with this? So I definitely think it's a good idea for you to just design what you want your day to be, your week to be, and put it on paper, and soon it'll be in your head, so you know what you're doing every Monday. You know what you're doing every Tuesday. You have a plan, okay? And you get to be, the best part about this is that you get to be fully present in every one of these time slots. When I'm doing Mary Kay, I'm doing Mary Kay, and I'm fully present. When I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids, and I'm fully present. So that is the freedom that what people would look at this and say, "Oh my gosh, like you don't get to be impulsive and have freedom." No, I actually have so much more freedom because I'm not scattered and all over the place and feeling like I'm not a good mom, not a good wife, not a good Mary Kay consultant, not a good friend. I'm letting everybody down all the time. You guys have ever felt like that, right? And so this prevents that. You have to be fully present and fully focused in the time slot that you have planned for yourself to do. Okay? And then with that, be flexible. Okay? So don't be so rigid that, if somebody can't hold a party except on a Friday night, but that's not in your weekly plan sheet. I'm sorry. No. Okay? Do her party Friday night. Just don't do the Thursday night time slot that you have. You trade it up. Okay? So just yes, you want this, but within that, be willing to be flexible. Or your son has a play on Thursday night. Sorry, I can't be there because that's my night to have parties. No, you just go to his play and you schedule something Friday. Okay, so just within that, work that. Okay? All right, so why don't we give you guys 5 minutes to stretch and to move around, go to the bathroom, we'll come back and touch on the next subject.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hi there. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hi there, do you hear me? Can you hear me? Do you hear me? Hello?
I don't know.
Pardon me?
And then it was gone. No, I didn't notice.
Hey there. Can you hear me? John, hello?
Guys!
John,
I have Gabby said
Yes, they're very close together.
Back this hurting. That's a cute. probably.
Looks like the boss babe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get it all figured out, yeah. So there is.
I didn't actually watch it start.
Oh, I almost did it. There's been a different perspective.
I am going to put some candy and then get some sugar. Crazy.
Vicki, can I take a picture of your, yeah.
Sure, absolutely. In fact, I should probably pass that around.
And I meant to take one last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh no!
Oh
You need to heat up some more water.
You may heat up some more water. I can go do that. I'm gonna go to the restroom first though.
There's a nice little line in there.
Okay, I'll heat up water first.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm kind of excited for the new school semester to start because both of them will be in preschool and I have 9 hours. So it's like 3 days a week in the morning. I can either do morning.
Calls or
Yeah.
coffee, career chats, or you
Or
can
booking.
you sign other moms that are setting
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
facials. What I really like to do is I like to do facials or double facials in the mornings and then book them for each one.
Yeah. Because I've got a couple, like I was telling you, I've got a couple of my friends. One of them is, I'm meeting, she totally found me bringing my daughter. I'm like, okay, are you sure?
Oh, yeah,
What do you need? But we're meeting and she's doing the bioscience class. And we try to get her, because this is her second fall. So, but yeah, I'm gonna see what she likes. But like, hey, we can go to this stuff. Let's see what your girlfriend's doing. That's right. So she's got a list of things she likes. I'm like, hey, oh, yeah. But she's got the whole, you know, I've got student loans to pay for. I'm like, no, I understand that. I mean, I don't because I don't have any. I'm excited, so definitely. Because I told my husband about this last night, and he's like, if I'm not home and working, rather than what I've been doing, because I'm trying to work at home, and it's,
gotta leave.
yeah. And
I'm
he,
only out 3 nights a week.
now, did you sit down with your husband and figure out what days work best? Because I'm trying to figure this, so I'm gonna have to sit down with him and be like, okay, what day is good for you?
Like obviously Monday's not an
Yeah.
option, but the other I let him choose the other nights.
Yeah.
When are you okay with me being
Because
gone?
Tuesday, I love my husband, he's a little nerd. Tuesday nights for his game nights with his brothers.
No, then you don't do Tuesday.
Yeah. So
But
then
you, after you get the kids in bed, you can
yeah, exactly.
I'll get them to bed by 8 and they call,
Exactly.
you know.
And then once Michael is old enough, we want to do Alana, which is Wednesday nights, and then it's kind of like, do I want to?
So for right now, do Wednesdays until he's old enough.
And then maybe switch it out to Thursday,
Maybe switch
Friday.
it out to Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, and then Monday is for changing kids. So, okay. Well, I'll sit down and do that.
Yeah.
For sure.
I should have made that an option for people to take a picture of that.
What's your? I don't know if we really covered this last time, but I know Jesus came so it's yours. What's your favorite quiet time? I know it's a big question. Maybe we have to like get one to start like.
There's a John Maxwell.
I want to get one to start as a quiet time. That's been my biggest thing the past couple times. I need to do me up. And even if it's just I'm starting it just to start it, and then eventually it's just because I'm like, I can't just sit down with the Bible. I like having books. You know what I mean?
So Jesus calling me early morning, and I look up the scripture that's in there, and I read the before and after. What's what that's
Yeah.
and then
Because I looked at the royalty book and I went with that one.
yeah, oh, the one I touched on
Yeah.
yesterday.
I like that. I was gonna see if it's at the library. This is what yeah, I'll read that. We follow. It's no joke. Like the one six summer. The January here it was like church. Today's like church. So we can't go to church. Okay, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, that's good. What's another one? Oswald Chambers, My Utmost for His Highest. That's really good too.
And I'm sure Candace has much too that I can help. But I was telling Angela last night that I need to find a good study book and just start going with just doing that one.
I don't know if I can send it. that has child.
Which that one
One of the
was hard
days,
too.
your kids aren't in.
Yeah, there's several in my church. I had a bad experience with one. I'm younger in the mom community in our church. I'm 26 and they're advertorial, so that's not too common.
Right. I was the same way.
Yeah, and so I went and I had childcare. I was totally down with that. This is before my daughter was born, and they were like not ignoring me, but when I would ask questions, it would be like, "Oh, kids love me." It was like, and I'm trying to learn something out of this, but you're dismissing me. So that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth for that women's ministry. But I'm wondering, is there something online where you can like look up local Bible studies?
Yeah, there probably is. Look up CBS Community Bible Study.
Okay.
They should have some.
Okay. Because I mean, I love the church, but the women's ministry there is not. Yeah, our church is non-denominational.
They have a child care, and so, and then you get to meet.
Yeah, other people. Yeah, exactly. Because I would
All of
do,
my community Bible study are my customers.
like, I would totally start doing that like on Tuesday mornings. Because right now I don't kind of think I've got both my kids. Thursday, every other Thursday, me and Mom's. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he's at school. So it's kind of Tuesday mornings at both of them.
Community Bible study. They're headquartered in Colorado.
Oh, I was gonna say everything's headquartered.
I know it is.
My husband used to work at Compassion. He's like, oh, that's sweet. I'm like,
Christy, I have a question. If you don't mind. Okay, when did you start getting used to getting up at 6 in the morning?
5:30 I get up.
Really?
Yep, 3 days a week.
I'm so bad at
So
that.
that's
But it gives you more time in
that's
the day.
discipline. It just really is. I have to do it, otherwise I don't get quiet time in and I don't get a workout in.
Well, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, if I get up here, which I normally do, I get just 3 hours.
Yeah.
it was called Community Bible Study.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to make sure I got that right.
Yes.
Technically, I get up early. My
Yeah,
daughter has to go to
so
school early. But
Mary Kay always said that if you got up 2 hours earlier a day, then by the end of the week you had an extra day. 10 hours. 10 hours.
that's the joke in our family. My daughter does the class every morning at 7:20 or 7:36. We wake up at 7.
If you get up at 5, your life will change. Your life will change. Because having this quiet time.
Did you get up and get ready right away?
No.
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 My
See,
problem.
that's my idea of like what I like to do. I get up, I brush my teeth, I put my warm robe on, I do a hot cup of tea, and I sit down on the couch with my Bible and Jesus calling, and a cup of tea, and just meet God and my tea.
What I do in the morning, my first hour of
Isn't
prayer.
that awesome?
Okay, I'll work
Awesome.
on it.
It's my favorite time of the day.
I'm really good at that.
We will meet you there,
My hard time
and
is
it'll be
getting
your
ready
favorite
right
time. It'll be your favorite time.
I take the last
All right, guys, we're gonna get started again.
flush my shower.
Let's get started again. All right. No? Okay. We're coming back in. We're gonna get started. All right, next thing we're gonna talk about.
He's so happy. She did. Awesome.
Those are adorable socks.
And then just a drawing and there were
All right. The video's on. That means I need to start talking. Okay, I forgot to tell you guys. Okay. I'm gonna do the school thing. If you can hear me, raise your hand. If you guys need to, if any of you guys want to take a look at mine or take a picture of mine, I'll lay it up. Yeah, I'll talk to them. That's fine. Not that your life is ever going to be the same as mine, but just to give you an idea, sometimes that's helpful. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk to you about, this is not the last thing, but the last thing I am going to talk to you about is the skincare class. And I'm going to walk you guys through the skincare class and the parts that I feel are the most important. I'll show you how I use the flip chart, how I customize the flip chart. to work for me. And I have an outline for my skincare class, and I just take kind of what's on there and put it in the flip chart, basically. Okay, so it's pretty simple. I have done the same skincare class for 14 years. I've done the same skincare class for 14 years. And those of you who were here this morning got to see it live with guests.
So simple.
Pardon me?
It was so simple.
It's simple, right? It's like super simple. So, it's really not how what you do in your skincare class is how many skincare classes you have. So that's what it is. So the first thing that we're going to talk about now, so this is the second subject, is tracking your way to success. Okay, tracking your way to success.
Yeah, that was really important. Gwen and I can say it again.
Okay.
And y'all should write it down.
It's not necessarily what you do in your skincare class. It's how many skincare classes you hold that is gonna make you successful. So I always say to everybody, and I say this all the time, it's the truth. I have never, ever, ever had a perfect skincare class. I have just done literally thousands of imperfect ones. Thousands of imperfect. And that's why I'm here. You can hold one perfect skincare class and never make a dime again in your again. Okay. And you can hold thousands of skincare classes and have $30,000. Okay, so just it really is the amount of that. Okay, and you know, I know that all goes back to Mary Kay always used to say, nothing happens until somebody sells something. And the $1 Million Directors on the trip all agree that really nothing happens until somebody sells something. And so if you guys just held yourself to getting 2 new bookings a day, if that's all you did, is got 2 new bookings a day, I'm not worried about you not showing up to your booking. Okay? Fix the problem. The problem is we're not getting bookings. So, or hold yourself to getting 1 new booking a day. If your goal is not directorship and car, get 1 new booking a day. And it can be any booking. It can be a facial, a facial, a guest to an event, a skincare class, a career chat, coffee with a friend that you're planning on turning into a facial. Okay? My bookings are relationship bookings. They're friendship bookings. I don't get a million leads of people that I don't know and colleagues, people I've never met before. That's never how I run my business. I don't want chatter. I know how to, so that if I am in a public place, I connect with somebody, I can turn it into a Mary Kay booking. But that's really because I want to get to know her better, and that's a great way for me to get to know her better. Because we're sitting down, and I'm focused on her the whole time. It's beautiful. And so I don't go out to one chatter. I never built my business that way. I know some people do, but it's just not how I run my business. I've never loved it. And so if you love it and you're good at it, keep going. That's awesome. But I don't. And so I build relationships, everywhere I go. And I'm involved in my community. And, when my kids were little, I was in a mom's club, and I was also in a bunko group, and I was in a bingo group. And my kids went to preschool, and every single teacher and every single mom there was a customer of mine. And if they wanted, they were going to. So, what else did I mean, anything like that, that if you have children or grandchildren, you have teachers and other moms, and all of them your customers. And if not, we're not. We don't need strangers. We have acquaintances that we see every day. If you recognize her face, she needs to be your customer. That's just bottom line. So it's not warm chattering when it's somebody you see passing the hallway. Okay, so sometimes I think we just have convinced ourselves that we need leads. You don't need leads. People are not leads. They're people. And that's their job, is to bring joy to their life and love it. So anyway, and people ask me all the time, how do you book them? I already told you how to book them. I need their opinion. I need 30 of them. And will you be one? And do you know a few people that will join me? I really value your opinion. And I'd love to know your honest to God opinion, honest to God true opinion on this topic. That's it. It's that simple. So sometimes we overcomplicate it. So anyway, I'm going to teach you how to track your way to success in Mary Kay. This is I did. I'm giving this to Christina today. Yeah. I'm going to teach her how to say the F-bomb nicely.
Big things, big changes.
I love giving you this. This, I have stacks of these in my house. My first one earned me a car.
Wow.
My second one earned me the electric kit. My third one earned me a Cadillac. My fourth one earned me $500,000 in the car, and my fifth one earned me a all in a row, and not over 18 years, in a year and a half. Okay, so you guys ready to learn it?
Yes.
Super easy. Okay. We're going to talk about the sheet I'm going to hand you, and then I'm going to talk to you about how you use it in the notebook. So this business, like I said, is super simple. We tend to complicate it. Somebody was asking me at lunch, who was asking me at lunch about how to, Tiana was asking me, she goes, I set goals all the time, and I just tend to not hit them. Okay? And I said, that's most likely because you're not tracking. And your goal needs to be a tracking goal, not an end result goal. Does that make sense? Okay? So your goal is a dream if it's not trackable. If it's not turned into something that you can write if you're doing it or not. Okay? So how am I going to explain that? Okay. I could have said that I wanted to go, my goal is to go into VIQ, but if I'm not actually tracking how many career chats I'm doing so that I could get 8 people on my team, then I'm never going to go into VIQ. Does that make sense? I could reset that goal every single month. But really, my goal is doing 30 career chats, right? Yeah. Oh, I don't know if we have more. Do you have more over there?
There's some coming back this way.
If you don't get one,
Yeah.
let
Share
us
with us somebody,
know, and we'll
that's,
email it to you.
you don't need one anyway, you're gonna need 4, and so it has to get emailed out anyway. Okay, so this is really just to look at today, and it's your first, if we can send some down there, it's really just to look at today, you're gonna need 4 of them anyway, okay? So, we're gonna, Candace will email it out. Okay, so, you're gonna take a 79-cent notebook and turn it into $100,000.
All right.
Ready? So you're gonna get this notebook and you're gonna trim that little piece of paper down so it fits nicely to glue it into the first page of a 79-cent notebook. Okay? And on here you're gonna notice it has a slot for 30 names. Guess what those are gonna be? 30 faces that get the skincare on their face, not a lipstick. The skincare on their face, okay? Their phone number. The facial isn't just to check off whether she had a facial. It's to put, does it say this at the bottom? No. Okay, so it's to put the date and a letter indicating what set she purchased. So you're going to put TWR for Time Rise Repair. You're going to put B for Basic. You're going to put M for Miracle. You're going to put U for Ultimate Miracle, okay? But you're going to put what she purchased. If she purchased a set. If she didn't purchase a set, leave it blank, just put the date. Okay? This is a good way for you to understand that maybe your closing needs to get a little stronger. Or you're not doing an individual consultation when you know you should. Just saying. There's probably some of you in this room. Okay? So, what did she purchase at this? And sometimes at the bottom of this, I guess it's not on here, there's a little key. But you can write at the top of it, the key. Whatever your key wants to be. Whatever you want, whatever letters you want to use to represent the skincare set that you have. Okay? Like when I do a skincare class, it's the Basic, the Miracle, the Ultimate, or I do Time Rise Repair. That's what I sample at my parties. So those are the letters that I use to represent those skincare sets. And then what the date was that she is a hostess. I put it in pencil when she books it, and it turns into pen when she holds it. Okay? Career chat, or marketing, or interview, whatever you want to call it. I put where she was on a scale of 1 to 10, or 1 to 5, or ABC, however you guys do it. Okay? Doesn't matter. That's not the point, right? Just put down whatever she was, what date she was a guest, and what date she signed her agreement. Career chat.
Career chat.
Also, it could be interview. It marketing, whatever you want to call it, marketing appointment, whatever you want to call it, okay? This is full circle. This is doing everything that you possibly could do with every single person. Sometimes the reason we run out of leads is because we're just barely scratching the surface on every single person. Just ask yourself, how many people have I actually done all of these things with? So, when I first started my business with Mary Kay, I really didn't want to recruit. I wasn't interested in it. I thought Mary Kay, one of the reasons I almost didn't start, like I shared, was because I thought it was a scammy, multi-level pyramid company. So the last thing that I wanted to do was recruit. I didn't piece of word. It sounds like you're signing somebody up for the army to go into war. I hated the word recruit. And so I didn't want to. I had 3 team members on my team by accident because I was simply seeing so many faces at skincare classes. I didn't want them to be recruits. I wanted them to be customers because I wanted to keep selling them. Okay? So I accidentally got into my red jacket. I did. And so I literally almost tried to tell. One person was like, please tell me how you do this. I really want to, I know, right? I'm like, okay.
But that was like just to recruit and not just have customers.
Right, exactly. Outrageous. I know. So
She's never
I'm just saying. I'm giving you hope. So when I went to fall retreat in October, so I signed up in January and went to fall retreat in October. Brain surgery was performed on me by Lisa Madsen and Cheryl Workman. Okay, my national at that time was Cheryl Workman, and so brain surgery was performed, and so I came home a different person. And thank God, because I missed my own 30th surprise birthday party, and I was so mad. Because I didn't know I was missing it, because it was a surprise. And I missed it. It was the best birthday party to miss ever, because I went on Target for my car that month, and 3 months later, I earned it, and then I became sales director, and that's kind of history, right? When I came home from that, I knew I had to start doing some career chats and interviews, right? Because I got all these customers. I had like 100 customers, okay? Because I was doing close to 30 faces a month. I probably had more than that. I can't remember. A lot of them were customers I didn't really want to have. Do you guys have any of those? So they were what I call, I organize my customers in Mary Kay and such. I make groups. They're my A, B, C customers. And then you're going to have D customers who are delete. They're not even really in a group. You delete them. Okay? And so it's okay to have them. You can have customers that you just really don't want. This is the question you ask yourself. If somebody else had her as a customer, would you be upset? And the answer is no. She can have her, and you can delete her. Okay? So I decided when I came home from that I needed to go through my customer list. I needed to decide who was A, B, C, and D. And A, B's, and C's needed to go on this list. And these I could free myself of. I could delete them, and I could literally rip up their profile picture. Okay? So I did that with some. Anyway, I figured I could literally take the customers that I have right now, and if I put them on this list and just like that, and try to do everything and check all the boxes for that person, I would probably have my whole directorship right here. I mean, think about it. If you have over 100 people, what are the numbers in Mary Kay? 1 out of 4 people that you share the opportunity with start business. 1 out of every 4 or 5, right? If you interview 100 people, you've got 25 people. That's directorship. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean I stopped working and seeing new faces. I didn't. I just added them to the list. Yeah.
Those are just people that are customers.
Either.
It could be either
Or. Because I had already had a business for 10 months.
Okay.
I had customers. So my first 3 lists were current customers. My 4th list were new customers I was seeing while I was going back to my first 3 lists.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I did not have a problem getting business. I did not need to work out. I had over 100 people that had never been hostesses, that had never career chatted, and that had never been guests. Think about it. Right? And so did all of them become hostesses, do career chats, and become guests? No. But the ones that did introduced me to 5 more people. Okay? So my goal was to get every single box checked for every single person. Didn't happen, okay? It's okay. But your pursuit of that is what's going to make you successful in this business. It's not actually getting it all done. Your pursuit of that, and that gives God something to work with. Okay? 100% gives him something to work with. So I'm gonna challenge you to take your current customer list, delete the ones you need to delete, give yourself freedom for that, and then write everybody else in here. Are there any people on your customer list that you have actually never sat down and facial? I bet there are. Guess what my conversation with those people was? I need to call and apologize. I just went through a great training, and I realized that I have not been a very good married business owner. And I really am going to ask your permission to make that up to you. Would you allow me to sit down with you and give you a formal marriage facial so that I can feel like a better marriage facial? You don't have to buy anything. I just want to make sure I'm doing my job properly. I need to apologize to you. I just went through training and I realized I have not been a good Mary Kay consultant to you. Mary Kay asks us to share the full information about our business opportunity with every single one of our customers, and I have never done that. I know this is not something that you would ever be interested in, but just so I could know that I did my job, would you mind having copies of me so I could go over the information? Do you think you're going to have trouble getting 20 or 30 or 40 bookings? Okay? So, you do that with your current customers, and then in the meantime, you're looking for new customers as well to put on the next list. Okay, what do you do with the rest of the notebook? Isn't this powerful? It's powerful. Okay? It's powerful. It's so simple. You all know all of this already. But having it in front of your face and having this as a goal instead of the pictures of the charts you want to go on, this is your goal, is to check every box. Your goal is to check every box. Okay? Because that translates into the activity that it takes to reach the dream. Okay? All right, so you want to go 15 pages in and do another one. And another 15 pages and do another one. And another 15 pages. Why 15 pages? Because the back and front of every single page and between those are going to be notes on all 30 of those people. So Jane Smith is number 1. On the back of this, I'm going to write number 1 at the top of this and circle it. And notes on Jane Smith. Jody Cooper is number 2. And on page 2, I'm going to write Jody Cooper and write notes. Left her a message, left her a message, left her a message, left her a message. Oh, she called me back. Well, you know. Okay? We schedule a career check. That's part of consistency. And you don't forget what you're doing and what you've done with people. Okay? Because you're going to leave a lot of messages. But leaving one message is not being fundamentally persistent. You got to go back again. Okay? Now, if you leave 12 messages in 3 days, you are a stalker. Okay? Leave 3 or 4 days in between phone calls, and after 3 phone calls, give it a month. Okay? But you have plenty of other people in your life in that month. But that's why you track it, so you don't become a stalker and become scared. Okay? So we don't want that, because that gives us all of them. Okay? Be kind, be gentle. Some of them will never call you back. It's okay. You have 100 other people to work with. Okay? Or you will. All right? So that's what you do with this notebook. There's room for 120 faces in here. 4 power stars. Now, if it takes you 2 years to fill one of these up, it's going to take you long time to do it. If it takes you 4 months, you're going to be a director by the time you fill it up. Okay? So, does everybody understand that? Yeah. Is this going to be helpful? Yes. Okay. Like literally, the first one got me a car. The second one got me well into directorship. It actually got me the Equinox in directorship. The third one got me a Cadillac. The fourth one got me $500,000. And the fifth one got me truck. Why? Because I took this and taught it to all my consultants. Is this duplicatable? Is it replicatable?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Do it, create credibility for yourself, and then pass it on to the girl that you're looking for. That's it. You guys could probably go home right now. Honestly, do it and pass it on. Do it and pass it on. Do it and pass it on. Okay? All right, so with that, before I go into the skincare class, I'm just going to talk about money management really quick. And because that is part of creating your weekly accomplishment sheet, it's part of creating credibility for yourself. On my weekly plan sheet as a consultant, I carved out an hour and a half to 2 hours every Sunday evening to do my admin, put my admin hat on. Remember how we talked about all the hats you have to wear every day? One of them is admin, one of them is being a bookkeeper, an accountant, and one of them is being a boss to yourself and writing yourself a paycheck. Okay? You've got to carve out time to do that. If you don't start paying yourself for your Mary Kay business, you're going to get sick and tired of the work you're doing, or think you're doing, or what you are doing, and your husband's doing. How many of you guys are married in here? Raise your hand if you're married. Okay, a lot of you. Okay. Have any of you ever had your husband like be a little negative about me? If you show him the money, there will be no negativity. So I just want to give you guys this thought process. If your husband got really dressed up really nice in a suit, he took a shower, got dressed up really nice in a suit, he combed his hair, put cologne on, and he went out to go to a meeting, and he came home all happy, and how much happier than he ever was at home. And he came home, and he couldn't stop talking about this amazing meeting that he was out at, and he made no money. And how many times did you let that happen before you start to say, why are you doing it? So sometimes we're hard on them because they're not supportive, and sometimes we really don't understand that we need to show them the money, right? And yes, the meetings are important, but bring some guests. Or make some booking calls on your way to and on your way home. Get some sales of products on your way to or on your way home. I have one consultant, she's a DIQ, and her husband asked her to track how much she makes per hour, and she needs to include the meeting even when she doesn't have guests. She goes to a networking meeting, she needs to include that. And let me tell you, it has woken her up. She doesn't like to come to meetings without guests anymore, and if she comes without a guest, she spends some time on the way there and on the way back getting reorders. So that she can say, while she was at the meeting, she sold $150 and she made $75. So that was, almost $40 an hour. Because she's tracking everything per hour. It's a reality check, but it's a good reality check because we make great money per hour in this business. We really do. But sometimes we can get so caught up into training and meeting and training and meeting. I'm going to challenge you guys to make some phone calls on the meeting today. Get some bookings. Sell some products. No. You go to the meeting. That's not an option. You just got to make your meetings work for you. Take some guests or make some calls there and back. Send out some texts on your way so that throughout the meeting, people are replying to your text messages. Bring this with you everywhere you go. If you're sitting in car line at the kids' school, open this up and send some text out. Just bring this with you everywhere, okay? All right, so I would carve out 2 hours a week. For me, it was Sunday evening, where it was my admin time. I would enter my profile cards for the week. I would enter my sales tickets for the week. I would put together an order, reorder everything that I needed to replace. If you have full inventory, it's easier because you're just replacing what you have, okay, what you sold. If you don't, you may need to replace more than just what you sold. Okay, you may need to be reinvesting in building inventory. Okay, I will tell you, there's one thing that will slow your business down, that is not having full inventory. Okay, I also will tell you that if you ever hear yourself saying a statement like this, I will get more product when I sell everything that I have, you are not thinking like an entrepreneur. Okay, if you walked into Walmart and it was empty because they were waiting to reorder until they sold it. That sounds ridiculous, but that's what some consultants do. Okay, I just want you to think about that. Your goal is never to sell everything. It's to sell and replace, sell and replace, sell and replace. You have a store. It's as when you go into Walmart and 2 people buy, drink containers, Walmart orders 2 more drink containers to replace them. They don't wait till they sell all of their drink containers to reorder. Okay, you want a stocked shelf. You want a stock store. If you don't have a stock store, you need to get one. If you have one, you need to replace it constantly. Your goal is not to get rid of it. Your goal is to replace it.
And what's a full inventory?
I would say for a consultant that is not earning a car or wanting directorship, I would say it's between 3,000 and 4,000 wholesale. And I would say with somebody who does want to earn a car and become a sales director, I would say it's between 4,000 and 6,000. And I would say a director is probably between 6,000 and 8,000 wholesale. And so that's a full store. You know, you need 8 full roll-up bags, Ultimate Miracle Set roll-up bags. What if you have a party with 8 women and every single one wants them, and then you have a party tomorrow? That's how busy you should be in your business, okay? And so, you know, that's what you need. You should have 4 full-time repair sets at least. What? And then another whole one that you're demoing with. Yeah.
You don't want a lack of inventory to be an excuse for you to limit your activity.
Yeah,
Because you
right.
don't have it on your shelf.
And it
so
will
you're
subconsciously be, even if it's not conscious, it will subconsciously be. The other thing is that full inventory pushes you out the door.
Yeah. Especially when your husband can see it.
Yeah, and it's good. But what you need to do is look at it and say, this isn't $3,000 of inventory. This is $6,000 to sell.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You have like a lot of money at your fingertips. You know, it's awesome. And women are buying it every day from stores. So they need to buy it from your store, okay? So you need to get full inventory. And there are lots of different ways to get that. You know, I am not against getting a business loan, whether that's on a credit card or through a small business loan through a bank. But you need to get full inventory as quickly as possible. Now, most of my consultants that are successful start with full inventory, you know, start with inventory. Their business pays it off. Their business pays it off. Their personal does not. But I will give you hope. I started with 0, but within a week I placed a $1,200 order because I had those 2 parties. And so I put all of my money back into it. So I placed a $1,200 as my first order. And then I had to put all of my profit back into my business for about 2 months. But I was holding 2 to 3 parties a week. Okay? So I got to full inventory very quickly. Now that is a harder. It was not easy. I lost customers along the way because I literally had people say I didn't want to wait again for products, so I went to another consultant. I have customers call me all the time that were customers of my consultants in my unit, and they say, I know I'm so-and-so's customer, but I always have to wait like a week for products, and I don't want to. I want to be your customer. And you know what? I accept them. You know why? That's not against the golden rule. They're not getting service. They're not getting service. Our biggest competition is not another line of products, it's convenience.
Yeah.
When you have a CVS pharmacy on the corner of every intersection, I don't care how good our black eyeliner is. If they have to wait 7 days for yours, they're walking into CVS and getting a copy.
Right.
It's just how it is. We have to be able to compete with the convenience of a drugstore and a department store, meaning they need to get it today. I had a customer the other day send me, this is all she sent me, it was a picture of her timeline volume from cleanser with the top of it cut off and peeled open and she scraped everything out. That's all she sent me. I'm like, I'll have it to you tonight. That was her real. What if I did not have it on my shelf? She would be somebody else's customer or she would be a CVS or dealers. Okay?
So what did you do?
Yeah, absolutely I did. Yep. Yep, I did. Now, thank God she wasn't 45 minutes away. She was 8 minutes.
How do you find like how do you find the happy
If it's more than 20 minutes away, then I would tell her I would get it for her tomorrow. And I would have my assistant take it for her. Or I would find another way. I would get it to her somehow if I can take it today. Or I would get right back to her and I would say, email it. I don't want her going somewhere else to buy it. I mean, she's just gonna have to scrape some more. I don't know. It'll get to you the day after tomorrow. But I wouldn't say, oh my goodness, it'll be 3 days. Is that okay? No, just say it's in the mail right now. Like it's already in the mail. You have your credit card. Like, no choice. Stamps on it, it's in the mail. You know, give me a credit card. Okay, so customer service is so important. It is so important. You work so hard to get customers. Why would you lose them by not having inventory? It's crazy, cray. It really is. So, just think. I mean, this is not about you putting money into your business. This is about running a business. I mean, it's just bottom line. If you own a restaurant, and you ran out of food, you'd be in trouble.
Right.
You know, I mean, you're running a business. Welcome to the big gold club. You know, and so it is what it is. Thank God we don't have to spend $50,000 on opening.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, really, you open a full store with $3,000, $4,000. Like that's like in the business world, that's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. So anyway, I would sit down 2 hours a week, Sunday night, enter my profile card, enter my sales ticket, put an order in. I actually placed 2 orders a month. They were usually between $600 and $1,000 each. That's how much I was selling. And so I would save it. I would place it every other week. And so I would place one towards the end of the month, not the last day, usually the 28th, 29th, and then I would place one around the 15th. And so the week in between, I would save that one. But I would put on that order everything that I had sold. And if I noticed that I was low on something, I would order 2 or 3 of them. And you guys, there's nothing wrong, and I hate to overstep my bounds, but if you have full inventory, I don't ever have a problem with my consultants borrowing product and getting it, as long as the order is placed and they are getting it back to them right away. You cannot exchange money with another consultant. You can't buy product from another consultant, even at wholesale. It is against your agreement, and you can get terminated for that. No money exchange. If you need to borrow a product or if you need to swap or exchange product, that is fine. But no money is to be exchanged between consultants. I don't want anybody getting terminated, okay? Can't do that. So you can swap or borrow, but please don't make that a habit. There are some people that make that a habit, and the sister consultants run from that. That you just need full inventory. But every now and then I sell, 4 hazelnut eyeshadows, and I have to, so I'll use the below one because customer service #1. I'm not waiting for my order. I need to get that product in right away, and then I'll get the product back to that consultant. Okay, but it's the exception, not the rule. Okay, so I would replace everything, and then I would do my weekly accomplishment sheet. So I would type in everything, every appointment that I had that week, every sale that I had. I know the first column is like, well, it's date, and then it says hostess. Well, it doesn't need to be a hostess. It's just a sale. If you sold product, okay? So it could be a hostess, or it could be a facial. You put the name of the person in the facial. If it was personal product, I put my name, personal product. If it's demo product, I put demo in there. And it left my shelf, it gets put on the weekly accomplishment sheet, okay? If it's product that left my shelf, it needs to be on the weekly accomplishment sheet somehow, somewhere. And I was good at it, so I actually was able to use the weekly accomplishment sheets for tax purposes, because even the weeks that I didn't do anything, like I had 0, I still printed out a blank one. Maybe I got some bookings, so I would put in the slot for bookings. I would put that I got some bookings and who I got them with. But I would print out a 0 one, so I know I didn't just forget to print one out or do one. I actually didn't. I had a 0 week. Guess what? Guess what your paycheck is at? 0. Guess what an even more motivating paycheck is? Because 0 you can kind of ignore. A $7.50 paycheck was very motivating. Okay? Yeah. I had a week where I sold like $16 or $18 or something, and my 40% was $7.50. And it's not awful, but I was like, dang, I can do better than that. That's all I did this week? It was really motivating. Okay. You want to make it really motivating? Make your paycheck out to your husband. Ooh. So I did that for a while. When he started complaining that this wasn't making any money, I started writing a paycheck to him every week. And it was my 40%. And it was great because it was motivating to me when my paycheck was not good. And it was great for him to see there were some weeks where it was $220 or $380 or $490. Okay? Yeah. Correct. So let's talk about that. Thank you. You have $1,000 week, okay? Because you're going to start having them when you're tracking your full circle business, the weight in there. And when you're leaving your house 3 times a week to start making the phone calls, check all the boxes, you're going to start having $1,000 week, okay? Let's say you have $1,000 week even, okay? You reorder $500, all right? Because you have full inventory, and that's why you have $1,000 week now, already, because you have full inventory, okay? You have $1,000 week, and you go to your meeting, you have your celebration, blah, 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 it's wonderful. Sunday night, you sit down and you do your admin, okay? And you work out on your weekly accomplishment sheet that last week, oh my gosh, it was $1,000 week, how wonderful. I would kind of watch it as you go, because the worst thing to do is have a $985, okay? You really want to kind of know where you are. Maybe I have consultants that fill in their weekly accomplishment sheet throughout the week. That's great too. Take 20 minutes a day in there. That's fine. However you want to do it. So you have $1,000 week. 50% goes back. Then you're left with 10%. Okay? 10% needs to go into a savings account. If you don't already have a checking and a savings account open for your Mary Kay business, that is what you need to do this week. You need to open a checking and savings account for your Mary Kay business. If you open a restaurant and don't have a business account, you're in trouble. Okay? If you open a restaurant and you look in your checking account to see if you have $50,000 to open your restaurant, you will be in trouble. People that open businesses get a loan, and then the restaurant, their business, pays the loan off. I mean, that's what people who open businesses do. Okay? And when we treat our business like a business, it's going to pay us like a business. Okay? So I got a credit card. After I had that first lesson, I got a credit card. I got full inventory. And then my business paid it off. Not my home. My business paid it off. Okay? So 50% goes back into business. 10% goes into a savings account. So in this situation, $100 went into a savings account. Okay? 40% is left. That's $400. Okay? If I don't have full inventory, or if I have a loan that I'm paying off, the loan payment needs to come from that $400 profit. Or your reinvestment in your inventory comes from your $400 profit. Now, please be very aware that you did make the profit. You made the profit. You are just choosing to put it back into the business or to use it to pay the business's loan. But you made the profit. Don't shortcut yourself because you don't recognize that you actually made money. You did actually make money. You need to break that down. On your weekly accomplishment sheet, I made $400. And then I would put little arrows. 100 went to pay my credit card down and 300 went to my home. Now, out of that 40%, you guys, when you get discounts, the discounts come from your profit of 40%. So please keep that in mind when you get discounts. Okay? Like today when I was doing the guest, I offered a half-price primer when you give away, when they buy a set. Well, yes, the primer only costs you $9. That's true, but you're giving away $9 profit. Okay? So that $9 actually comes out of your 40% because it's not profit. It wasn't there. It doesn't exist. Okay? So 40% in this case would be $400 minus $9 because you gave it a free primer. Maybe you gave 4 free primers. Okay? And that's $28. Okay? No, is that right? No, 36. Okay, I'll do it too. Okay. That's 36. So 36 out of your 400, you know? So you, that, whatever you give away comes out of your profit. So then when you know what your profit is, you literally write yourself a paycheck. Or you write your husband a paycheck for that amount. Okay? If you don't, it will look like you're making no money. And Satan can get in there and start telling you lies that this is a waste of time and that this business is not working and you're not good at it and you're not making any money. But if you have a track record, a paper track record of check after check after check after check after check after check after check that you wrote to yourself, even if those checks are only $10 a week, nobody can tell you you didn't make money. You did make money. It's not as much as you want to make, but you made money. Do you see the power in that? And you can see how when we don't do that, we don't really know what we're doing. And there's room for lies that can creep in and take over. Okay? And I don't mind if you want to put money back into your business. Just write that down. Write it down how much your profit was and what's going back into your business. And at some point, You need to, I mean, that's why getting a loan for getting inventory is the fastest way, because you really want to get to that point where you're writing yourself a 40% check minus discount is take it back. Okay, now, the 10% that you're saving, what are you saving for?
Taxes.
Okay, taxes, what else are you saving
Business
for?
tools.
Business tools, section 2.
Yeah.
You want to know your biggest expense as a consultant? Events. That we don't think about that.
Yeah.
Events. Are we specifically saving for events? When I realized that, I opened a second savings account. One was for taxes and business tools and like section 2 PCP, and one was for events. And I worked out how much it cost me on an annual basis to go to all the events. I was going to say that I wanted to go to, but that I went to because I took my business seriously. So I went to every event. I never missed it. And I worked out how much they cost.
Yeah.
As sales directors, I'm just going to tell you, if you don't have a separate savings account for events, that's going to get you in trouble. Because it costs us a couple grand a year, probably, at least, maybe $3,000 a year to go to all of the events we go to. And that's fine. It's a worthy business expense, but we've got to save for it. I have, as a sales director, I have an automatic transfer of $400 a month that goes from my checking account into a savings account for events. Because I like to take my husband to some events, and I want my business to pay for it, even though it's not a legitimate business expense, because my husband doesn't need that education. I do. But I want my business to pay for it. So I have an automatic transfer every month of $400 that goes into a savings account for events. I never scramble to pay for someone, ever. I never think about not going to your conference because I can't afford it. I never think about not going to leadership because I can't afford it. You guys, it's simply a choice that we make to prepare for them. If you save $150, $200 a month for events, you'll always be able to go to seminar. But if you don't, when seminar comes along, you have to get childcare taken care of, and you have to come up with the money. But if the money's sitting in an account, I mean, I have $2,000 sitting in a travel account for me, and that's after I went to leadership. It's not an obstacle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You've got to create a situation where your finances are not an obstacle. They won't hold you back because you need the training, you need the education. Education should be one of your greatest business expenses. Thank you. I tie it off of my profit. Okay? So I do personally tie it off of my profit. I tie 10% off of my 40% after discounts. Okay? So I tie it off of that. Yep. So I write 2 checks every week, one to my church and one to my husband as a consultant. My goal, what drove me, was to be able to get to the point where I could write a $1,000 check to my church. And that happened 18 months after I signed my agreement. That's a why. That's motivating. It really is. You know? So anyway, good. I'm glad you asked that because I do. My tie comes out of my profit. Okay? I wouldn't tie it off of your gross necessarily because that's not what you're making. Does that make sense? Your $1,000 week is not what you made. You know, you made $400 minus this. So your tie might be $36 for that week. And then you got to pay yourself for 350 hours more. Okay? So it's all good. Okay? That's money management. Any questions about money management? Any questions about the notebook? Is that good? Are you guys going to start writing yourself a paycheck?
Yes.
Okay. So let's take a quick break. Let me see what time it is. 4:05. Okay, so can we come, it's a little before that. Can we come back at like 4:10? Can we try and do that? Because I have one more thing to go through, and then I want to take questions. Okay? All right, so let's take a quick break, stretch our legs, go to the bathroom, and come back.
Yeah.
Switching my legs.
Switching my legs. I was like, that's very
For a while, I had a snack bar, but I just throw here. So that but everybody is in my order. Good. I took out papers. I'm trying to figure out what to do. Well, doctor's office. Yes, she was hearing she was no, yes, now she's like, I can't do this. So there's $200 that I spent last night that I most definitely have just sitting there and need to make sure I have covered. Not just that.
I just looked and I was like, oh. Oh, hey, what's up? Hey. I may be jumping the gun here, but all my pictures are like out of whack. You know, that means
Switching the order.
no, I want to make sure mine match hers because mine have been out of order. Just to make sure.
Can you put this change in respect there? Just drop it in.
And then it's Sunday. Yeah. Is it on the calendar?
Yeah.
I don't know. No. Well, no. Right? Yeah. So yeah, it's
Sorry, I might be cheating, Vicki.
You're cheating? Oh.
I might be. No, all my papers are out of order, so I want to make sure.
No, I have a lot of mine taken out.
No, I took them out and then I just never put them in because I didn't know how to use it, so I want to make sure that.
You're the same?
Yeah.
No, it's great. I'm gonna take notes on that thing because I don't know how to use it.
I told her I use like cute pictures when I'm on the table.
Right.
That's about it.
And then you don't use anything else.
And they're like, okay, cool. I tried to, but I was bubbling so much figuring out what was next. It was like, no.
Got your bag of chocolates. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. She's so thoughtful. Yeah.
It's not our show.
No,
It's not our show.
I wouldn't think about that.
Would never have done that.
No, it wouldn't even cross my mind.
I'm just happy that
I thought you
have
brought
the
those.
ones. I should have brought them for one of these days.
No, it's so funny. Yeah, I was proud of myself for remembering to get you the chocolate.
So that's what I started with. I started what I earned, as far as
She's good at tracking prizes.
my expenses, which I have done really happy. And then I wrote a list of all my people, and I would put repeat facial interview. But I wasn't tracking it all the way through, and I wasn't putting in my dates. And like when I would call people, I didn't take time. So then I'd be like, oh, shit, that's so bad. Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. Because I call people when I'm at the kids, and on my way to work, and I don't write it down, and then I collect my list.
I like how you have the 15 pages of notes.
Yeah, that's
Because I agree with that too. I do it live, and then I'll go look at it like 3 months later and be like, who is that person? My facial, yeah.
So I went through. So you don't have any of these. Do you just not use them at all?
When I do it, I might repair off at the time.
I have not been able to find I don't have a customer who's right. Okay, so this is just what you're not. It was a lot in here. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to make sure mine was identical to hers. I was like,
It's too much stuff. Okay, good.
Thank you. Yes. Sorry, I was like, I'm being nosy. I was gonna check her outside. Okay.
Good is good.
So what do you do with these? Just hold on to them.
Yeah, I just want to ask them.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like that was a lot of like, info. It's like, I don't know, it goes over every little detail. Like I've got my girl who's returning these two, and I might use them for exercise for something that wants to try eventually, but.
There's two other cards. One was
Yeah. So, because I think when I placed my order this month, I want to get the anytime I repair set just to start sampling that one. So reach out to me. I know. Well, no, just to show like what it is, rather more the product, rather than have the full set out to show. Like, so it's more for me.
right, when you see it,
That's true.
ask them. Just be careful because people buy what they see.
Okay.
So that's the problem. When we send you
They'll buy the $5. Yeah. So could I just have the time register set on the table and show them what we're using and then have it already in the sheets?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking, just to have it. But I haven't been able to get anybody, well, not no one to really try to use it I haven't got there yet, no. Haven't got quite there yet.
All right, ladies, we're gonna start. We're gonna start. All right, I'm gonna start
I like that. I want it like
our final subject. Is your plane full yet?
not yet.
Okay, I'm glad. I hope I haven't overwhelmed you guys yet. Okay. I hope I haven't, have I offended anybody?
No.
Sometimes when I train, I can get very like harsh. And I don't want to be harsh, you guys, but like this is, I think that it's not, this is not an excuse. I don't want to be harsh, but I know that the number one reason that women stop and they don't stay in this amazing environment because they're not making money. And they're not making money because they're not running it like a business. The number one reason women leave Mary Kay, and this is an amazing environment, for personal growth and just healing and love and all of those things. But the number one reason they leave is because they're not making money. And the reason they're not making money is because they're not running it as a business. And so you guys, it is very hard to make this work with your, like a toe in the pool. You gotta jump in the pool. And that does look like pulling. I mean, it just, and there's only one time that you have to start with that, and then after that, you're just replacing it. You know, it's okay. But it also does look like leaving your house 3 days a week. You know, 3 2-hour time slots a week. It also does look like tracking in your notebook to hold yourself accountable. It also does look like writing yourself a paycheck, even when it's, you know, $2. Whatever. It does. That is what, if there's one thing that I learned working at that architect firm, it was that if they didn't have me running that business, I don't care how good they were as an architect, they would have no business. And that's just the truth. You've got to become a great businesswoman as well. You have to know your numbers, run your numbers, treat yourself as an employee of your own business. And so I'm not trying to be harsh on you guys or like mean. I passionately want you to be successful in this business. And I want you to stay in this environment that is going to change you and grow you for the better. And there's nothing like this enough. There just isn't. And in order for you to stay in this business, you need to make money. That's where Candace and I talk about this all the time. We're not motivated by money. We're just not. We're motivated by the influence that we can have for other women to help get them out of pain. debt, freedom, you know, from whatever it is in their life that they need freedom from. Sometimes it has nothing to do with money. But in order for us, in order for it to make sense for this to be a ministry for us, it needs to make money. So this is a for-profit ministry. Okay? And that's what's going to attract other women. And so, and I just want to tell you, I just feel like to tell you this for whatever reason. There was a time in my business, probably about 4 or 5 years in, that I started to get a little bit, I started to have some questions, like internally about the superficiality of Mary Kay, just the cars, the diamonds, the trips, the $5,000 high heels that some national will buy, you know, like the whatever, you know, whatever, you know. I just started to like have some issues with that, and I started to really question what. And I'll never forget, you know, when the Lord speaks to you and it's convicting, it's not mean, but it is like you cannot deny these folks. Like it is sharp, you know. And I will never forget him saying, because I was like, what am I doing? I'm talking about cars. And I don't care about cars. I'm talking about, you know, my $30,000 paycheck, and I don't care about money. I'm talking about my 50 pairs of diamonds, and I don't care about diamonds. Like, what am I doing? And I remember him very sharply saying to me, Vicki, let me fish with whatever bait I want to fish with. And you guys, the truth is that there are so many women that come into this business because they need the money, they want the cars, they want the trips, they desire the diamonds, whatever it is, and what they find here is him. I can't tell you how many consultants I have that for. I have 2 rows at my church of consultants, their husbands, and their kids are all in the kids department. The eternity has been changed for them because of this business. I remember coming home from career conference and telling my pastor, my goal, I don't want to use church to grow my Mary Kay business. I want to use my Mary Kay business to grow our church. Yes. And so these are women that were never going to church. Most of them never knew the Lord, neither did their husbands, and now they do. One of them, her husband plays in the worship. A year and a half ago, they didn't know that. You know, so I mean, it's just, let him fish with what he wants to fish with, but you have to have some bait that women want. Okay? You have to have some bait that women want. So if you have a heart to use this business as a ministry, gain some credibility. Have something to fish with. Have some bait. Okay? And that's what we're teaching you to have. We're going to talk about a skincare class today. Okay? So, I'm going to keep one of these actually. Oops. And this is the skincare class outline that I came home from my very first career conference in 2004, and I wrote this. So this is the skincare class outline that I have used for 14 years. Okay? So it still works for me. I have adapted it into our flip chart. I've taken a lot of pages out of our flip chart. Using lots of information. Okay? And I do highly recommend that you read the flip chart and highlight things that are important to you. What's important to me is not going to be what's important to you, and there are going to be some things that I have taken out that are important to you that are not important to me. Okay? And neither one of us is right or wrong. It does not matter. Because you're going to do your thing and then teach others how to do what's made you successful. And that's all that matters. Okay? So I'm going to really quick just talk about this outline, and then we're going to talk about how to put it into the flip chart. For me, that was the easiest way to simplify the flip chart. This is our skincare class in 4 parts. There's really only 4 parts to a skincare class. Does that sound good to you? Oh. Okay. Now there is a pre-part to the opening of the skincare class. I think it's a good idea for you to arrive half an hour early. I think it's a good idea for you to have chit chat with the hostess. I think it's a good idea for you to create the simplicity of being able to step up for a skincare class in about 10 minutes at the most. I have 3, the way I think of it is I have 3 stations for my skincare class. Are you out of them?
No, extra.
We have extra. Anybody else want? There's one extra. How perfect was that? Okay. That's awesome. Okay. This is the way I think about it. There's 3 stations for a skincare class. There's the kitchen sink where we do satin hands. It could be a bathroom too, but usually the kitchen's in the middle and I don't do everybody out with me. There's a table where they're actually trying the product. And then there's an individual consultation area. It is not in another room with a closed door. That is scary to people. Okay? Do not take them to the private closed rooms. Okay? It is in the family room. It is in the living room. It's not in the kitchen. It's not in the dining room if you're doing a skincare class in there. But it is out in the open. It's just like a couch, like two chairs. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not in a closed off room. Okay? It's open. But those are your 3 areas. Satin hands goes at the sink. Your skincare table. You guys, some of you guys are super creative and you like are so you can create beauty, like it's amazing. Like you have the tablecloths and the little what are those called, the crystal beads and the whatever they are, and oh my gosh, it's awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. I did not do that. Okay? It's super simple. I have some roll-up bags down the center of the table with Ultimate Miracle Size in them. I have at one end, I have my roll-up bag opened up with my sample product. We're going to talk about a regular skincare class with the Ultimate Miracle Size, not the time I repair, because I don't have time to go to that as well. But once you learn the basic outline of the skincare class, it doesn't matter what product you're going to, okay? And then everybody has a mirror, and then they have a profile card and a pen, and that's it. I don't give them a catalog, because guess what happens if they have a catalog? While you're talking, they're looking to the catalog. Okay? And they're deciding what they're going to buy and not going to buy, and they're not listening to a word you are saying. The least distractions possible for your potential customer. A profile card with a pen, and a mirror with a tray. That's like it. And then roll up bags down the middle. Okay? It's so simple. Okay? It takes me literally like 5 to 10 minutes to set up posting the class. And then in the individual consultation area, I have my bag, my starter kit bag, and I make sure I have catalogs in there. I have my date book. I have sales tickets. I have recruiting packets. I have hostess packets. Okay? So it doesn't matter what's in your recruiting packet or hostess packet. It's whatever you would want to have in your hostess packet or your recruiting packet if somebody was asking you to be a hostess or asking you to have information on the business. Okay? It's what you would need. Okay? So, my hostess plan is super simple. They get either $10 for free or 10% off per person that they have there that is 21 or older without a current Mary Kay consultant, up to 5 people. Okay, so they have 5 people there, they get $50 for free or 50% off their choice. I don't do it based on sales because I don't want my hostesses to feel like they have to push their friends into buying products, and I don't want their friends to not come because they're afraid they're going to have to buy them. So I want to free them up for that. I only want them to buy something if they love it anyway. I don't want them to buy it. And then I'll give the hostess gift if I get 2 buckets. And so it might be like the satin lips or the primer or a hand cream from section 2, you guys. Just something little. Okay? If she has 5 guests there. If she has 3, it's $30 or 30%. If she has 4, it's $40 or 40%. It's just easy. If she has 2 guests, it's a skincare class. She gets $20 or 20% off. Her choice.
But what if she
The hostess at $50 for free, I think she'll find something.
Yeah, she'll use it.
Yeah, she will use it. And if she doesn't, you're no loss to you. I mean, I'm sure your hostess will want something, So, in fact, usually my hostesses are like waiting to buy the Ultimate Miracle at a half price, So, yeah. Okay, so you set those 3 areas up, and then you're checking with the hostess, and then when people arrive, you're socializing, you're meeting, you're getting to know them. I think it's important for you to understand. Has anybody in here ever been to another direct sales party, like a paper shop, something like that? Have you ever been to one where the consultant, doesn't take control?
Yeah.
And she's standing around and nobody's starting the party? And you're looking at your watch, and it's been like 30 minutes since it was supposed to start, and she's like too shy or too timid to like get the ball rolling. she's waiting for the hostess to gather everybody to get us started. You guys, that's our job. These women make decisions all day. It is our job to like tell them where to go nicely, like you're not like ordering them. But they make decisions all day. They don't want to go to a party to relax and have to make decisions and have to be in charge. And that's when somebody who's in charge a lot. When I go to one of those parties, I don't want to be in charge. Like I just want to, you know, have my cheese and crackers and drink my wine and be told where to go and when to go there. You know, like it's so nice. Isn't that nice? To not be the one in charge for once. So anyway, you're the one in charge at the skincare class, okay? So once most everybody's not there, this is what I usually say. I say, all right, ladies, we're going to go ahead and get started. I just want to thank Jane so much for having us all here today. We're going to have a blast. My name's Vicki, and I'm just really looking forward to getting to know you. And let me tell you what to expect. You're going to say that quite a few times. Let me tell you what to expect. Okay? People like to know what to expect. Let me tell you what to expect. We're going to start here in the sink, and we're going to pamper your hands. And we're going to go and sit at the table. We're going to pamper your face. At the very end, I'm going to meet with you guys one-on-one, answer any questions that you have. If there's anything you fall in love with you want to go home with, I'll get it to you at that point. And we're going to set up your second appointment. Mary Kay asks us to have 2 appointments with every single woman. The first one is focused on skincare, which is what we're doing tonight. And the second one is where we customize a color makeover look just for you. You can invite some girlfriends to join you and get a bunch of free products like Team Skincare tonight. All right? Let's get started. All right? We do satin hands with them. And then when I'm putting their hand cream on their hands, I tell them, go ahead and take a seat, fill out your profile card. It's right next to your mirror at the table. You can sit wherever you want, and I'll be right in there and we'll get started. Okay? Then I usually go in there, and while they're filling out their profile card, I'll match their skin. You guys have CC cream now. It's so easy. Like, I'll just put the CC cream in the tray. And then once I've done that, I will stand at the end of the table, and then I start the opening of the class. Okay? So the opening of the class, I want to thank the hostess again, and I do go ahead and tell everybody what the hostess is going to get, and I stress the fact that she's going to get that whether they purchase anything or not, because I don't want her gift to be based on them purchasing something, and I don't want you guys to feel like you need to buy something for Jane to get her free stuff. The only reason you're allowed to buy something tonight is because you absolutely love it and you want your skin to feel and look like it feels tonight every single day. Okay? So I kind of take the pressure away. And that is the honest to God truth. I don't want them buying it. I don't want a token purchase. I don't need another D in my delete customers. I don't need that. I don't have time for it. Okay? So, anyway. So I thank the hostess. I tell everybody about the gift. And I mention again. Okay, so like I mentioned, Mary Kay always asks us to have 2 appointments with every single woman. The first one is tonight. We're going to focus on skincare. So if you have eye makeup on, we're going to leave it on. We're going to work all around your eyes. And then your second appointment, we'll focus on your eyes and other colors. Okay? So today we're going to get your skin in tip-top shape. I think you're going to fall absolutely in love with this product. Your second appointment will focus on colors. You can get some freebies by having some fun there. Okay? All right. And then I say, so let me tell you what we're going to do here at the table. Let me tell you what to expect. We're going to get to know each other. I'm going to have you guys introduce yourself, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. And then we're going to try some great products. I usually play a game, so I tell them that we're going to play a game. And at the very end, I'm going to tell you about all the sets that we use. And then I'm going to meet with you one-on-one right in there in the family room, like I mentioned earlier. And you can, if there's anything that you fell in love with, you can let me know. You can ask all the questions that you want, and we'll set up your second appointment. Okay? Now, I've talked about the individual consultation and the second appointment 2 times, and we haven't even put anything on our list yet. Okay? If you're having trouble selling sets, and if you're having trouble meeting with them individually, and you're having trouble setting up second appointments, it's because you haven't said it 7 to 10 times. If you say it 7 to 10 times, it's not optional. The first 3 times, they think it's optional. In fact, the first 3 times, they don't even listen to you. They ignore you. The 4th, 5th, and 6th time, they're arguing with you. I'm not going to do that. I don't want it. I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not going to set up a second appointment. When you say it's 7, 8, 9, and 10, they know there is no option. Okay? Because they are going to sit with you and they are going to set up a second appointment. Okay? And you guys, I'm not saying this. The reason I say it so many times is so I don't have to be pushy. I mean, it's your job to have a second appointment with everybody. Because I just want you to ask yourself how many women have bought products, it's been the wrong formula, or they haven't used it correctly, and they've never reordered it, and then they tell everybody that Mary Kay doesn't work for them. That's own. And for each other, we need to do that. And for the Mary Kay brand, we need to do that. Individual consultations, again, it's not for you. They don't want to tell every friend at that table that they're going through a divorce and they don't have any money. Or that their child is going to maybe have cancer and they're not ready to tell anybody and they don't know what's going on with it. Those are the things that I am told at that individual consultation.
Yes.
You guys, that is like, it's like a counseling thing, okay? And it's important. They don't have anybody else to tell that to. Because those may be their friends there, but they're not ready to tell their friends because they don't want to discuss it every day. Yes, they have a process with them. And so do not ask them about their finances or put themselves in a situation where they have to tell you about their finances in front of them. Okay? All right, so we go through that. I tell them what to expect. I have them introduce themselves. Then I tell them my story. And then I go through some Mary Kay facts. So with this flip chart, what I do is okay, we start here. I think this is good because it tells you, make sure you don't forget anything. And then I keep page 5 in here. And what I wrote on page 5 is I literally wrote A, B, C, D, and E. Okay? I wrote on here, A, we're going to get to know each other. So this is where I tell them what we're going to do. B, we're going to try some products. C, we're going to play a game. It's on here. D, I'm going to tell you about the sets. And E, we're going to meet one-on-one. So basically, like what to expect, I put on page 5. Okay? And then I took 7 out, I guess. Because 9 is my next one. I took a lot of pages out, guys. It's a lot of information. Whatever you do take out today, I want you to go back and read it. And if there's stuff on there that you really want to say, either put it back in or put it on another page. Okay? All right? So, page 9, I summarized. There are 5 things on here that talk about that talk about Mary Kay, and I summarized it on here. So once I've told them what to expect, I have them introduce themselves and I tell my story. Okay? So there is a place for your story. It's page 13, but I actually do that before I tell them about the company facts. I like them to get to know me first. You don't have to do that. You can tell them the company facts and then tell them your story. It's just I'm just telling you what I do. Okay? But then I kind of summarized. I like numbers, and I say these are my top 3 reasons that I just love my Mary Kay. And I summarize this into top 3 reasons. My first one is it's a socially and environmentally responsible company. Okay? My second one is that they have donated more than $50 million. It's on here. You can just highlight it. They've donated more than $50 million to domestic violence shelters and over $20 million for cancer research on cancers that affect women. And number 3, I love the priorities of God first, family second, career third. And I may have mentioned that in my story, but I just say it again. Okay? So if you haven't told your story, you want to tell your story at this point. Your story should include some facts about the company. Okay? So that was page 9. So I guess I took page 11 out. I took some of the facts that are on page 11 and I included them in my story. It's much more interesting for them to hear it through your story. So how do you do that? You tell your story and then you can say, what I've learned about Mary Kay in the education and training that we get is, I love that, Mary Kay's not a multi-level pyramid company. We don't make money off of other people. It's not how it runs. That's a fact that I love about Mary Kay. Because that was a stereotype that I had, So, pardon me? Yeah, we're not a multi-level pyramid company. We don't make money off of other people because we don't, okay? What we get in our love check is Mary Kay profit sharing. It's profit from Mary Kay corporate is what it is. We don't make money off of our team members. We make money from Mary Kay corporate. It's different than a multi-level or pyramid, okay? So I explained that, and that's a fact that I really like. I don't know if this fact is currently correct, but I'm going to tell you I say it. I'm just prefacing it by that. That Mary Kay has the largest fleet of cars, second only to the U.S. government. We surpassed the government.
Yeah.
Ah, love it. Okay, that's a good way to change. Okay, good. All right. So some things that you love about Mary Kay include in your iceberg. Okay. Then I go to page 15, and I summarize this into my 3 top reasons to have a Mary Kay consultant. So, and this is what I say on this page, and it's on here, okay? This is H on my outline, okay? This is H on my outline. It's on page 15, okay? G on my outline was on page 13, okay? Some of those things on my outline you can't say anymore because they were correct 14 years ago, okay? Like that we were the #1 best-selling brand of skincare and color cosmetics for the past 13 years. You can't say that. I don't know how many years it's been now, and I don't think you can say that anymore. So that's a 14-year-old thing. So make sure you correct that. I just want to leave that out. Yeah, because I don't think we are #1 anymore. Okay. Okay. We're one of the top. You can say we're one of the tops. Absolutely. You can say that. Okay. So my 3 top reasons to have a Mary Kay consultant. And I say this, you guys can shop anywhere. I know you're going to have skin for the rest of your life until the day that you die. I know you're going to wash it and you're probably going to use some form of cosmetics on it as well. Maybe, maybe not. And I know you can shop from anywhere that you want to. Drugstores, department stores. But I'm going to try to tell you why it's great to have a Mary Kay consultant. And these are my 3 top reasons. So this is what I wrote on page 15. Number 1, delivery to your doorstep. It is not fun taking your kids out of a car seat and walking to a drugstore and yell at them not to while you're trying to find the right foundation shade. Okay, it is not fun. You call me, tell me what you want, I will deliver it to your doorstep or have it drop shipped from Mary Kay and it will be there within 24 to 48 hours. Okay? Number 2, you get to try before you buy. It's also not fun to go to a store and try to pick out the perfect foundation shade or the perfect lipstick and get home, try it on, and your body chemistry turns it a completely different color and it's not the color you want. Okay? So you get to try it with me. At your second appointment, we'll try 15 different lipsticks if you need to find the perfect one. That's what our second appointment is for. So when we meet one-on-one later today, you let me know what you specifically definitely want to try at your second appointment, and I will make sure I have samples for you. If you're building your sample collection, this is a side note, when you sit with her at the individual consultation, take out the lookbook and ask her to circle all the colors she wants to try at her second appointment, write her name on the lookbook, and take it home with you. Or take a picture of it with her name on that page. Either one, whatever's best for you. You can give her the catalog, take a picture of it, has her name on the page. You know to order those samples for her second appointment. That's how you build your book of samples. You don't order them all. Okay? That help? Okay. Number 3 is 100% guarantee. I love this about Mary Kay. Mary Kay corporate takes care of it. Doesn't cost me anything. So when we meet one-on-one, don't be afraid to try something. You can let me know what formulas and colors you think you want to try. At your second appointment, if it's not what you absolutely love, we'll either switch it out dollar for dollar or I'll give you your money back. I have mentioned the second appointment and the individual consultation 4 times now, and we have not put anything on their face. Okay? It's natural though. It's normal. It's like good places to say it. Okay. 17, page 17. I like the how old you are is your business. How old you look is mine. You know, if you don't like that, don't say it. Sometimes it depends on the group that I'm with. You know, whether I say that or not. So sometimes I don't say anything on this page. Sometimes I do some of the things that I have highlighted or underlined. If you like things on this page, okay? All right. Page 19. Now I go into the 5 steps of skincare. I like to involve them in it, and so I ask them, if I were to tell you that there are 5 healthy steps of skincare, what would you guess some of those are? And I like to get them guessing. And then I go through the 5 steps of skincare. Okay? Then I start talking about the products. So page 21, I start talking about the products. I don't have time to go through exactly what I say about every product, but somebody videoed this morning. Did somebody video this morning?
I did.
Okay. Brianna, 2 people. Brianna definitely videoed this morning. I went into detail about the science behind our product. I love our product. If you want to hear the science behind our product in layman's terms, you might want to watch that video. Okay? So I won't go through the individual products, but I'm just going to go finish out the outline of the flow of the product. So I talk about the 3-in-1 cleanser. It takes 30 seconds to do 3 of your 5 steps. So basically, why would you not use this cleanser? Okay? Because it takes 30 seconds to do 3 of the steps of skincare. And I tell them there's 2 formulas. And when we meet one-on-one at the end, you can let me know if this formula was good for you. If not, we'll try the other one. And when I have your second appointment, if you need to swap it out, you can. Okay?
Where are you saying that?
With the cleanser. It's right here. So under number 1, I write individual consult, second appointment. To remind myself to say that. Okay? And I don't necessarily say all of these words, but until you learn what you do want to say, I would say these words. Okay? And then I stick in the microdermabrasion. Because I do that either on one side of their face or on the back of their hand. Okay? So I do demonstrate the microdermabrasion. Okay? Yes.
I demo on the back of the hand, and so I don't do set hands first.
Right.
Because it's not effective.
Correct.
Is
You
that
didn't do it today.
okay?
If I did set hands first, I'm going to do it on half of it, on just the cheek, on
Yeah.
just one cheek
Right.
of their face.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it on the back of their hands, have the hostess do satin hands while you're meeting individually with everybody.
Right.
Perfect. So you can do satin hands with the hostess, teach her how to do it, and have her do it with her guests while you're doing individual consultations with everybody. And you're really training your hostess how to be a consultant, which is great. Okay? So yeah, if you're going to do it on the back of the hand, don't do satin hands first.
And
Okay?
if you do it on the back of the hand, if they don't have moisturizer on yet, they can rub their cheeks and
And they can feel the difference. And you can literally see the difference. When you look at their hands, you can see the difference between the one that's a microderm and the one that hasn't. It's amazing. It's brighter and lighter and smoother, and the pores are small, and it's amazing. It really is. Okay, then I go through the day and night solution. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you everything that I say about it, because we don't have time for that. Then so I do keep 23 in there. 25, I talk about the age-fighting moisturizer. Again, we have choices of age-fighting moisturizer. So what do I talk about? The individual consultation. If you didn't like the one we use right now, you can let me know. We'll give you the other one. At your second appointment, if you're not happy with it, we'll swap it out. So that's like 6 times I mentioned it. Okay? 6 times. All right? Then I do the firming eye cream. So I write on here, firming eye cream. And then we do satin lips with the question game. So today I forgot to do satin lips in the question game at this point. We actually did the primer and CC cream, and then I remembered I forgot to do it. Told you I've never done a perfect one. Okay? I told you. And so it's okay. I didn't freak out. We just did satin lips after the CC cream. It's no big deal. But I like to do it before because the satin lips rubs the foundation off around their lips. Mm-hmm. So all those people that were at the guest event today, they had a ring on their lips. So you do satin lips, and I have them ask questions about the business opportunity because I've already shared stuff with them, and I give them tickets for every question that they ask. When I wasn't wanting to recruit, I had them. What did I have them do at that time? I think referrals. I had them do referrals, but I switched it out because I wanted to recruit. So that was more important to me. But you can do this question game and the referral game. You can do both. Okay. All right, and then we do the CC cream, which is page 27. Again, there's lots of different shades. There's lots of different options of foundations. This is the one we're trying today. I quickly list like the other options of foundations. When I meet with you one-on-one at the end, you can let me know if you think you want to try another one. And then at your second appointment, if you're not happy with the one that you think you want to try, we'll swap it out. How many times is that? 7 times. Okay, 7 times I've mentioned it. Okay? And then page 31 talks about the second appointment. Honestly, I skip it because I've mentioned it 7 times. Okay? I don't need a page for that yet anymore because I've talked about it 7 times. And I'm not done talking about it either. Okay. So, but I don't go through the whole thing. Page 33, I'm going to be honest, I don't do it, but I like it, so I keep it in here. But I'm just going to be real. I usually am like over it by this point. I'm tired and I want to go home. So, but it's a really good thing to do because I do like to see them give compliments to each other. So if you guys want to be a really great consultant, you will do that page. Okay. And then 35 is all about the referrals, okay? Highly recommend you do that because you want a list of referrals, okay? So I would just read through that. I read through that page because it's not my favorite part of the class, and so I do what Mary Kay tells me to do with it. And then I go through the steps, okay? So this is the close, which is number 3 on your skincare outline. And basically what I write, I just wrote the prices at the top of here. The basic with the CC cream is $64. The miracle with the CC cream is $115. The ultimate is $237 with the roll-up bag. But I do it for $199, so they get $38 off. Okay? That is coming out of your 40% profit. So if you don't want to give that much, don't. Okay, it's up to you. All right? So I just want you to be aware of that. Okay, so I go through the basic, the 3 products. Cleanser, moisturizer, CC cream, $64. Miracle set with the CC cream is $115. Ultimate miracle set, which is the miracle set, microabrasion, firming eye cream, the free roll-up bag, I give that for that, it's $190. Okay? And then I say to them, okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to meet with you guys one-on-one. I'm going to sit right over there. And whoever needs to get out of here first. If there's somebody who has a babysitter or they're on a time crunch, you come meet them first, just bring your profile card. I'll answer any questions you have. If you fell in love with any of the products, you can let me know what set you want to go home with, and we're going to set up your second appointment. So, and I go. Like, I go. And somebody usually says, like, if I'm like, if anybody has a babysitter or they're on a time crunch, somebody's usually like, and I'm like, okay, let's go. And they go. And I sit down with them. So the individual consultation is the most important part of the entire party. Okay? So I try and get through this in 45 minutes to an hour so that I have an hour to do the individual consultation. Because you should spend about 10 minutes with each person, and if you have 6 people there, it's 60 minutes. Okay? That is the most important part of the party where the relationships are built. That's what we miss at guest events. Because even if you sit with them, it is not the same, okay? This is where you hear that woman's life story, okay? And this is where you get to be that person she needs. This is where you get this is your ministry part, okay? And you need to know what you're asking her. So, the individual consultation, I have these 6 questions that I ask here, pretty much with the exact verbiage that I use on here. Did you have a good time? How does your skin feel? If money were no object, which set would you take home with you tonight? Is that what you're, I say, she says, and I say, is that what you're comfortable starting with? So that's changed a little bit. Is that what you're comfortable starting with? Okay? She'll let you know. You don't have to say, you don't say, what do you want to buy? All right? She'll let you know. If money were no, and I say this, if money were no object, if I were to give somebody a whole free set tonight, which set would you choose? And I'm not going to do that, but if I were, right, what set would you choose? And some of them, believe it or not, don't even say the Ultimate Miracle set because they know they'll never use it. Okay? So whatever they say, I say, that's great. I affirm their decision. That's a great decision. Even if it's the basic. It's the basic price of here. It's a great place to start. Is that what you're comfortable starting with? Okay, and if she says yes, you take out a sales ticket and you write it down. And then you don't give her the product until you set the second appointment. And you set a time for a career chat with them. If you are really good, if you have 6 people at a skincare class, you can walk out with 12 to 18 bookings. A second appointment, that's going to be a party, okay? A career chat and a guest of your next event from every person. You could potentially get 3 bookings from every single person sitting with you at that individual consultation. So you could walk out with 18 bookings in 1 minute. Is that better than getting leads?
Yeah. Yes.
We're running around more chattering and getting leads. And we could go to one party and walk out with $600 or $1,200 in sales and 18 bookings. What are we doing? It's like crazy, you know? The business is so simple. And so I have the verbiage here on how to book those things. Okay? All right. Questions? Questions about anything? Yes.
So I know for a while, I've only done the microdermic hand 4 times. My biggest one is doing the charcoal mask. you
Okay,
recommend
do that instead of the
switching out?
microderm.
Okay.
Absolutely. Just you just want to reprice your sets to include that because whatever you show, you want it to be part of a set.
Yeah.
And you just reprice your sets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that shows like a lot
It
more
does.
too. So
It does.
yeah.
Yeah, and your age group is gonna like the charcoal mask better than the microderm. You know, women I would say 35, 40 and over are probably gonna enjoy the microderm more than charcoal mask.
Okay.
So yeah, that's fine. There's another question over here.
When I know that on Mary Kay in Touch, when you're filling out your weekly accomplishment sheet and you're giving discounts, is there an area for the to show that discounts and it's made up your profit?
Yes, there's a hostess discount and then just a discount. I forget what they actually call it, but your hostess giveaway, that's what they call it, giveaway and hostess giveaway. Your hostess giveaway is what your hostess got. Other giveaways is like the roll-up bag that you gave away for free, the half-price primer that you gave away, okay, that you offered with the set. If you offer that, you don't have to offer that, okay? You could include the full-price primer, people will still buy it, you know? So, yeah, there's sections for that. I don't believe it works the numbers out for you. It does tell you what your 60/40 is. I don't believe it takes it out of the profit.
Oh, it doesn't.
It'll give you what your 40% profit is, but that's without taking the giveaway down. Double check it, just play with it, but I don't think it works the discount out of it for you. It does give you how much you make per hour. That's pretty cool. So double check that, play with it.
So if you have discounts in there and you're putting all that in there, but it's not,
It gives you a total of your discounts. It tallies that up for you, but it doesn't take it out of your 40% profit. It gives you a number there that is your 40% profit, then you have to subtract out the discount. And that's what
so
the
it's
paycheck
not
will be.
automatically taking the discounts out of.
No, the 40%.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You had mentioned something earlier in regards to, on the weekly accomplishment sheet, you put down like phone calls, and how many of these got on the phone calls?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you could definitely put that on your weekly accomplishment sheet. I mean, I'm a big believer in tracking all of your activity in the week. It's a good place to track your inventory movement, like anything that went off the shelf, but it's also a good idea to put down how much time you spent on your phone calls and how many bookings you got. There is a column for bookings, you guys, and as a director, I print out my consultants' weekly accomplishment sheets every week, and I highlight their name. I highlight the column for bookings, because if they sold $1,000 and got 0 bookings, there's an issue. They're missing the full circle part of the business, okay? And then I highlight how much it made. I highlight their 40% profit. I highlight their hourly, how much they made per hour, and then I write some notes on there for them. And that's like my gift of time to them that week. I give them back that to them at the meeting. So, yeah.
If you do more than 10 calls a day, the day you're really lucky nobody's bothering you. You can do 20 or 30. Would you put individually on that?
No, I use my notebook to track who I call.
Okay.
But I would just put booking calls and put in the hours and how many bookings you got. You
So
don't have
you
to say
just put
who
a
you got.
total on the working sheet.
Yeah, I'll just write booking.
Okay.
You know, the date and booking. And then and the hostess name. And booking. Yeah.
I'm used to looking like one-on-one facial. How do you, when you're asking someone for their opinion, and like you've done it so much that you're like, well, yeah, I want your opinion, but like most people love the product. I guess I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around.
This
like,
is what I say.
feeling up
I
front.
need 30 opinions. How many can you help me with? I really value yours, and it's been a while since we tried some things and got some new stuff out. But I need 30. You have a few people that will be great opinions for me. And it's just really a mindset. If you're used to booking one-on-ones, you'll continue booking one-on-ones. You just got to get used to booking parties, and you'll continue booking parties. I call it a beauty experience. I love that. You love that? You love it? Yeah. Okay, does that help? So tell them your goal. They want to help you reach a goal. Women want to help. The whole reason I'm here is because Kim asked me to help her. I want you guys to understand that. I'm not here because she told me I would love the skincare or that she would give me a discount. I am here because she asked me to help her. Ask women to help you. I have a goal. I need 30 opinions. Can you help me get that? Okay? Some of you over here have it. Yeah.
I didn't get the third one. Each person should book a second party and book a career chat and
Guest to an event. Be a guest to an event. That's the third booking. Okay?
When you're doing glamour, do you do glamour for the whole group?
No.
Or do you just do
Good
it for
question. Second appointment. So when I'm booking a second appointment, if I book it for 6 o'clock, I ask her to have her friends come at 7. So I spend a half hour, 40 minutes doing color with her. Then I set up for the skincare class. And then she's my hostess. She helps me. Yes. And then the hostess doesn't do the product again. She's already done the skincare. She just really helps me. And so again, I'm training her how to be a consultant. I ask her to run the class for me when we're doing the cleanser, all the things that I was running back and forth doing, I ask her to do for that night. And then I ask her, when we try a product that you love, I want you to speak up and tell me what you love about it. And then she sells it to her friends. And I say, you want them as your customers or mine?
So I have a question. I had more about my own house because I have a product there. So when you are at somebody else's house, I mean, what do you really?
I bring a roll-on bag for every person. So it has an Ultimate Miracle set in it. And then I bring a bunch of CC cream, satin lips, and satin lips. I don't bring colors because I'm not talking about colors. And I'm not sampling colors, and I don't want to sell you colors. So I bring what I'm sampling. So I have just like a Tupperware with the CC cream, satin nails, and satin lips in it. And then I bring a roll-up bag for everybody. That's it. That's all I have to bring. It's really easy. And here you would probably be okay when you Tupperware in the car for an hour. So you wouldn't have to bring that in. But I just bring the roll-up bag. So if I have 6 people, I have 6 roll-up bags. That's what you need. Yeah.
If you have a roll of that, I'll put together with all.
Everything except the CC cream because I don't know what color she is.
Right, so she only wants
You pull stuff out of
to
it.
pull it out of the bag.
Yep, exactly. So we pack your bag in. That's simple. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? I felt like I had something to say in that. Okay. I think that's it. I've loaded you guys up with some good information. I hope. And you guys, really honestly, let's keep the business simple. Oh, I know you said you do a lot of parties at your own home. Okay. Super convenient for us, not the best for our business. And I'll tell you why. Your hostesses are going to have more people show up at their house than they will have them show up at your house. It's just the truth. Okay? And so you really want to get to know people that you don't know. So you really want to be willing to have the parties at the hostess's home. I do have them at my home very rarely, but you guys, it's usually the hostess with 1 or 2 people, and when it's supposed to be 5 or 6 people. Okay? So her friends and family are more likely to turn up at the last minute at her house because they've been there a long time. And they are coming to your house and they don't know how to get there. Okay?
What about if you have it at their house and all of you together? You're trying to.
That's because you did not take control in the kitchen when we did satin hands at the beginning. So how, I don't want to say forcefully, but how you've got to command with confidence their attention at the beginning. Hey ladies, we're gonna get started. You guys ready? So I'm super nice, but I'm not gonna be talking. Okay? And so we're gonna get started. Let me tell you guys what to expect tonight. We're gonna do satin hands, we're gonna pamper your hands, and we're gonna go over there and pamper your face and meet with you one-on-one. They are not talking over me because I am commanding you. Okay? You might have to talk a little louder than you naturally or normally would. And it's just
Yeah.
well, it's really your attitude that it's not how loud you are, it's really your attitude. Okay, so I'm taking command of the room. And that comes with experience and it comes with confidence. So don't beat yourself up too much, but it's the more comfortable, because I've done thousands of skincare classes, I can move fast. They are going to start talking when you're pausing and trying to remember what to do next. You know what I'm saying? And that takes a little while. Give yourself some time to get that. But as you are more confident and as you're more comfortable with the skincare class, you're going to move right along. There's going to be no room for them to start talking. And if there is, I mean, very rarely, and usually, honestly, it's because I have not done my job and they have had some wine to drink. That's happened a few times to me, and that is my fault And so when that has happened, why is that my fault? Because I have not told them that it's not okay to have wine there, or if they want wine there, that we're gonna serve it after, during the individual consultations, and I tell them, and this is true, that wine tends to flush their face, and I can't match their foundation properly if they've been drinking wine, so can we serve it after? I can't anymore really tell everybody not to have it, because a lot of people, a lot of social groups, their friends are not gonna come anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was just one glass of wine.
One glass of wine. Yeah, that would be nice. No? Okay, over here, question.
Some quick, your hostess coaching stuff.
Right, so that's one of them. Yeah, so coaching stuff. I tell them that 1 out of 3 people will usually show up. So we want to have 5 to 6 people, so please invite 15 to 20 people. I tell them if they haven't heard from their guests the day of, they're probably not coming. So please make sure you reach out to them once or twice the day of, as well as between now and then multiple times. I'm training them to be a consultant. I am not a big pre-profiler, and I'm going to tell you why. Mary Kay never did that herself. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, okay? She never did that herself. She took her hostess as her partner, her business partner. She said this multiple times. And she was training her hostess to be a consultant. Your hostess, your great hostesses have influence with their friends and family, okay? I just want them to get them. And if she can get 5 people there, she is super reputable. She has influence, okay? So I will coach her, and I will remind her, and I will talk to her multiple times, but I work with the hostess. I don't pre-profile. Now, a lot of my consultants do, okay? And I know that I'm potentially missing out if the party cancels. I understand that. But I know. I'm not giving you permission not to do it if you're doing it. If you're doing it, keep doing it, okay? Okay? Yeah.
So at the end of your what if they're leaving feeling like there's
Yes.
they don't like that feeling?
Right.
They're not
I tell them you are going to love the MAC Foundation. So that's what you need. I know exactly what color you are, so that's what will get you with your son. And even if you don't know exactly what color they are, you tell them, I know exactly what color you are. You're going to love the MAC Foundation. It's super light. It's, it's my favorite. It's what I wear. I love it. So when we sit down one-on-one, that's what I'll match you, and that's what I'm going to send you home with as part of your set. Okay, because you'll love that better than the CC code. Listen to me. Us people in Florida, which is humid world, are not in love with the CC cream and the starter kit. I'm just saying. It's like sweating off before they leave. We've done moisturizer and primer, and now we're doing CC cream, and it's like 97 degrees outside. I love that foundation. But it is easier to match. It's much easier to match. Okay, are we done? We're good?
Yeah.
All right, love you guys.
Okay, y'all need to get